John, are you familiar with the expression, it never rains, but it pours? Have you heard this before?
Yes.
Okay, good, because that's what we got this week. Oh, my God. Every week I'm scraping the barrel. I'm talking about amiibos and Pokemon Go updates and news that has nothing to do with anything. And this week, my cup runneth over because we have the VGAs, the PSX, as well as just a smattering of regular news right here on the Rage Select podcast. And here on Rage Select, I'm fucking Jeff.
I'm John.
Yeah. And I knew it was going to happen because last week, while we were recording, there was stuff that was big news while we were recording. Are you?
We're not doing the yelling thing anymore.
I'm sorry.
Calm down?
I'm sorry. I requested John, not Lil John.
What?
Yeah, can I get some?
Okay.
Some okays. Hey everybody, welcome to the Race Select Podcast. Boy, we got so much to talk about. I don't think we're gonna have a whole lot of time, but I do have a few. I have one quick update and then one thing to talk about, and then we're jumping into all video games. I don't even know if we're gonna have time for questions this week. We're gonna have to see how it goes. So if you send in a question to mail@rageselect.com, I apologize if we don't get to it this week.
Games are more important.
There's so many things to say. I went and got that $5 Taco Bell nacho thing last week.
Yes.
Okay, it's worth $5.95.
Okay. No, good.
I got that on like 2 other burritos, and I was way too full when I was done. So just FYI to everybody, don't get the other burritos. Just get the big thing of nachos. All right, so before we get started on every single smidge game news, there's so much game news and it's everywhere. There was only one trailer in the world that could take me away from game news for even a minute, and that was the new Guardians of the Galaxy 2 trailer, which just looks fucking incredible.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. This trailer did nothing to change my opinion of going to see this movie because I was already set on hyped.
Yes.
Like, when it came to this movie, I don't get hyped. I stay hyped.
Yep. I got to tell you, this is a bold statement, my friend, but I watched this trailer like a dozen times in a row, and I didn't do that with the Death Stranding trailer. So,
Oh, I did.
But, yeah.
And everybody loves Baby Groot.
Baby Groot. How could you not love tiny Baby Groot? It's kind of interesting to me. I can't tell the timeline, but I think it would be interesting if he's Baby Groot this entire movie. Because, like, in the comics, at least, I've read a few Guardians of the Galaxy comics. It seems like
he grows pretty quickly.
Yeah, he comes back to regular-sized Groot pretty quick.
Interestingly enough, still voiced by Vin Diesel.
Oh, yeah? They just pitch shifted Vin Diesel. This is exactly what I kind of wanted out of the first trailer, where it's just, they threw in their 70s prog rock, and it's funny, and there's action, and it's got style, and they got all these parts of just, it's like wisecracking. I love the end with how Drax...
She just revealed your deepest, darkest secret. Do me next!
Yeah, I just love Dave Bautista's like childlike, when he laughs, the look on his face. He's like, ah! And then how he's bouncing up and down in his chair when he's like, do me. This looks incredible. This has me more psyched than just about any other Marvel movie trailer I've seen in a long time. It makes me want to go back and watch Guardians of the Galaxy like 4 more times because I just fucking love that movie.
Yeah.
I don't know. Any thoughts? Anything I haven't gone over?
No, that's pretty much it.
Just watching it right now. If you would have told me, I didn't even know who Dave Bautista was before I saw Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm sure that it's a little... Is it strange for you to see... a professional, because he's a professional wrestler, right?
Yeah, he used to be. Yeah, he's retired.
Like it is a movie star. I guess it's kind of like he
just does movies now. He's retired from wrestling and just does movies.
Same vector as the Rock, sort of. Yeah.
Though he went and made good movies. at the beginning of his career. Not to say The Rock hasn't been in good movies now, because he's like one of the highest paid actors in Hollywood right now.
Yeah, man.
But when The Rock first started doing movies after he left the WWE for a while, he made some shit movies.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing that I'm a little bit concerned about is that this trailer has it's showing a lot more than the original Guardians of the Galaxy trailer.
Well, that was just a Comic-Con teaser trailer thing.
Well, no. I'm talking about for the first movie.
Oh, for the first movie, yeah.
Like, I feel like maybe it's because I'm so much more invested in this in a story way. And the first one I was invested more in a style way that I'm like watching it and trying to parse like, okay, wait, what's Rocket's outfit like here? Is it the same thing over here? Like, what does this happen in the movie or whatever? But I don't know. I'm super goddamn psyched for this.
Me too. I'm always excited.
I cannot. This has been a hell of a week for getting psyched about stuff, man. There is a ton to get psyched about.
I'm going to be honest when it comes to Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
When it comes to the comics, I couldn't give two shits.
Yeah.
Like, I honestly was never a fan of Guardians of the Galaxy. Never really read them. Couldn't care. Before that movie was so good.
Yeah. The argument for me, man.
Like as a comic book, now there are going to be people like, what, you didn't like the Guardians of the Galaxy series that was written written by, I forget who even wrote it, but it was like there was one that was actually really good that I always heard was really good, but I never read it. So
okay, fair enough. Yeah, but this looks incredible, and Baby Groot. You know, I mean, come on, how can you not love the little Baby Groot? It's actually funny. I was looking at the Guardians of the Galaxy comics, and at one point, like Iron Man joins the Guardians of the Galaxy for a little while. Yeah. I think that would be really interesting to see fucking Downey Jr. in here with the rest of these wisecracking a-holes. I think that would be really fun. Anyway, let's get out of there and let us start with the Video Game Awards 2016.
It's happening while we were recording last week's podcast.
Yes, indeed. Now, I mean, just briefly, we can go over the actual. I mean, I don't know anybody that really, or does anybody really care about award shows? You're like, oh my god, Validation, my favorite game, won an award.
I don't know. I don't even know what was nominated or won. So
well, apparently Overwatch was Game of the Year. So Game
of course
of the Year
it was.
Went to Overwatch. Best Game Direction went to Overwatch, and then Uncharted 4 swept a lot of the rest of the stuff. Best Narrative, Best Performance was Nolan North as Nathan Drake. Like, oh no, really? I'm so shocked. I'm surprised.
I'm gonna be honest. There are a lot of categories with the Game Awards. Like every year, every time I've looked over them, there are always categories that I'm like, they just made this category to give this award to this specific game.
You mean like,
and then included other games in it just to make it feel like it was a legit choice thing.
You mean like the Games for Impact award that Dragon Cancer won, and the nominees were 1979 Revolution, Black Friday, never heard of it. Blockhood, never heard of it. That's a Devolver Digital game. What the fuck? I don't think. Orwell, when we play Orwell, and that seemed cool. And Sea Hero Quest, like what? You just wanted to give that. You just wanted to lick that Dragon Cancer's butt like everybody else did. So
there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, Inside won Best Indie Game. Pokemon Go won Best Handheld Game. Oh, shocker there. You know, Dishonored 2 for Best Action Adventure. I don't know that I would do that. Hitman was in that list, motherfucker. Hitman's a great game. Best RPG, Witcher 3, Wild Hunt, Blood and Wine. Oh, the actual DLC. They gave that shit to DLC over Dark Souls 3 in Best RPG in 2016. I feel like I'm rhyming over here. Yeah. Anyway, but you know what? This is like the Super Bowl. I don't watch the Video Game Awards for
the commercials.
That's right. We watch for the commercials.
What my commercials? Advertise your games to me, motherfucker.
First up, and we're going to come back around to talking about this in a little bit, but new Death Stranding trailer that you teased me with at the end of last week's show.
I did.
You a-hole.
I have watched this trailer. I have watched analysis on this trailer.
Yep.
I have seen so many different things that people have done to manipulate the trailer and compare it to the original.
Yep.
Holy shit. There's a lot hidden in this trailer that I did not catch upon my first, second, third, fourth, fifth, 12th, 19th viewing.
I got to say that this is, to me, and this is going to be a little bit of a theme, I feel like, in a few different places. This, to me, is the reason that you... This is the reason that you want to take a video game auteur like Hideo Kojima and just let him do whatever the fuck he wants to, because I ain't never seen anything like this before, and that includes the first Death Stranding trailer. The fact that fucking Guillermo del Toro's got a Frankenstein scar on his head, he's walking around with a little baby canister, and there's...
Well, what was it? I read an interview, someone interviewed Mads Mikkelsen after this trailer, and he goes, yeah, so I talked with Kojima, and he told me the story. I understood some of it. But I thought it was interesting. What I did understand, I thought was interesting enough that I was on board. And then there was another interview with who's the guy who's playing the main character? I can't think of
Norman
his name.
Reedus.
Norman Reedus. And he was like, yeah, man, I love Hideo Kojima. I'm always a fan of his games. But he was telling me about the character when pitching this game to me. He was like, he explained the story, and it was very clear. I didn't understand. He goes, okay, I'm going to tell you what we're going to do. With this video game, we're going to make people cry. And he's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like really? Okay.
I like the mental idea that Hideo Kojima has become so jaded from his time at Konami that he's like, I'll show you motherfuckers. You're all going to cry when you play
Cry
my
with
new game.
emotion. We are going to make people feel emotions that they've never felt with video games before.
You're going to be on the
And if they think they have experienced them, well, watch out, because they're going to experience them in a way that they didn't previously
You're
experience
going to
them.
have snot coming out of your nose. You're going to be dry heaving. People are going to be like, are you okay? And you'll be like, yeah. But yeah, okay, so Guillermo del Toro's carrying around a canister with the baby. He's got the same laser handcuffs. We got like little baby dolls in black goop. We got tanks with octopuses coming off the side of them. We got rainbows. And
we got fucking airplanes with umbilical cords coming out of them.
Yep.
Tanks with umbilical cords coming out of them.
Yep. Skeletons that are soldiers.
Controlled by umbilical cords that are plugged into other soldiers. Babies with only one eye open.
Babies winking at you. You got dead dolphins all over the place. And yeah.
You got World War II planes, World War II soldiers, modern era soldiers, motherfucking everything from every motherfucking era you could ever think of. This game, Kojima went, what have I always wanted to put in a video game? This seems like a lot. Fuck it. All of it.
Everything.
It all goes in.
But so, okay, the thing that I actually find really interesting is that, like, the original Death Stranding trailer with Ritas on the beach, right, was very much kind of an interesting departure. And a lot of Up Until Here was an interesting departure. But this is interesting to me because, like, especially with this part at the end when they're going through this kind of, like, sewer and Mads Mikkelsen has these, like, skeleton soldiers. That's like some Metal Gear military kind of actiony looking stuff, right? So, because, like, I'll be honest, I like when Hideo Kojima does action stuff, and we didn't really, not that I mean, I don't know, we didn't have any idea what the fuck Death Stranding was. It could have been like a Telltale game. It could have been an adventure game for all we knew. But this, I mean, at least from this, and it could still be that.
Yeah.
But I think that Hideo Kojima has a kind of a fetish for the kind of military stuff. Like just when you're watching this trailer, when the little skeleton soldiers come out and they start, to come out and they cover. These guys could be the frogs from Metal Gear Solid 4 or could be Russians from Metal Gear Solid 3. Like just the way that these guys are moving and like the skeleton's putting their hand, this guy's putting his hand on this guy's shoulder. Like that's some straight up Metal Gear shit right there. But whatever else, I mean, I don't,
Well, like little things that I thought were interesting that a lot of people haven't pointed out is like, or that a lot of people have pointed out. Like if you actually, at the very beginning when Guillermo del Toro's character is walking out and he's looking around, if you actually pause it, you can actually look and enhance it, or not enhance it, but biggen it or whatever.
Yeah.
If you look, he has a button on his lapel that says the United Cities of America. And it has like this America with like this spider web over it.
Yep.
Which I'm kind of like, what does that mean? Like, what is this?
Yeah,
like,
I was at my friend's house. He has a 4K monitor, so I was watching it in 4K, and I was like, ooh, pause it. I want to, because I can read that in 4K.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't.
And the fact that, like I said earlier, the soldiers that are the skeleton soldiers are all wearing World War II era outfits.
Yes.
Whereas Mads Mikkelsen's character is totally modern day.
Yeah, he has
military.
a much more modern kit. Also, I don't know if you noticed it, but at the very end, the baby has the same scar on its belly that Norman Reedus has in the first trailer.
Yeah, and also it opens its one eye like the baby that Del Toro. And people have done the thing where they've put the trailers side by side.
Yeah.
And notice, like, one of the big things you notice is that when the baby disappears in the first trailer is the exact same moment that the baby appears in this trailer. And then also people have taken the trailer and put them upside down, like one upside down. Like it's put like this one is right side up and then the other one is upside down like a mirror image. And they're actually like spatially mirror images of each other.
Interesting. Okay. All right. Some of that might be some of that room 235 shit. I feel like where
no. People have gone like really freaking crazy with some of their stuff. Like what is it? The mascot for Kojima Productions. Like people have asked like, oh, is this character going to be in Death Stranding? He's like, no, it's just a mascot. But there's like this like really like this intro video that they did featuring the mascot character and like
I remember that.
and like people are claiming that the eyes on it look like Norman Reedus, so they're like, no, that's Norman Reedus under that armor.
Yeah.
That this has to be the character in the game. Like they've come up with this whole weird theory of like riddle of the Sphinx, like the whole what has 2 legs in the morning,
right.
4 legs in the morning, 2 legs in the evening or in the afternoon, and 3 legs in the evening.
Yeah.
And the answer is man. Well, it's like Norman Reedus is the middle of a man's life. The baby represents the beginning of Norman's life. And the character for Kojima's thing, who has a staff with a flag on it, is the third, 3-legged.
Oh, come on, internet.
People have been going
down.
Really fucking crazy.
Let's calm down a little bit. Now, the other thing that I can say is I don't know. It's been widely reported that they're using that this game is going to be on the same engine as the Horizon Zero Dawn.
It is that engine.
Is this? Did they ever say whether this trailer was rendered in that engine?
Yeah.
Because
yes.
Okay, because it looks damn good.
Yeah. Now, having said that, they basically after the PSX whatever show thing, they actually had a bunch of panels that they streamed afterwards, and one of them was an interview with Kojima with Jeff Keighley doing the moderation for it, and they talked about Del Toro. Del Toro just did the body scan. He's not doing the actual acting or the voice of his character. It's going to be voiced by someone else, but it is going to be a character in the game. They talk, and then they said, well, we're going to announce what the engine is, and the engine is called Decima, and it is basically when Kojima went to PlayStation and said I'd like to, or when they came to him and said we'd like you to make a game, he's like, okay, well, I don't have access to Fox Engine, so I got to come up with an engine from scratch. And Sony went, well, why don't we see if there's any other companies that will let you have their engine or let you use their engine, one that you feel that you can use.
Yeah.
And literally every studio wanted to talk that he talked to, because they did this whole thing where they went across the U.S., to different studios and just had interviews. And the first thing that Guerrilla Games did, or whatever the fuck they're called, they just handed him a box with a USB key in it and said, regardless of how you feel at the end of this meeting, that's yours. Oh. And he opens it and he goes, what is this? And he goes, that's the source code for our engine. And he was just like, so even if I don't use it, you're giving me this. And they're like, yep, you can do whatever you want with it. And he was like, I want it, and he looked at it and he goes, this is what I want. This is you gave this to me without even asking, or without asking for anything in return. And so then Kojima started working on it and goes, oh, hey, I saw this thing in your code and I did this and it made this look even better. Here's, you might want to use it.
Oh, yeah.
And supposedly they have, while most of the code is Guerrilla Games' code, so much has been added by Kojima and his team that it is hard to tell which code is whose anymore, because they're both and so much so that Kojima even has a satellite office in the Guerrilla Games office in which they actually converse and build the engine even more and enhance the engine even more.
Dude, that's great. Because the thing is, Guerrilla Games, Killzone Shadowfall was a really good-looking game. And regardless of how you feel about it.
So my point being is that what you're probably seeing in Horizon Zero Dawn is the non-Kojima version of the Decima engine. Yeah. And this is what that engine looks like now.
Okay. Well, I know that, the thing is that the time... after... Okay, so you look at the timeline for Kojima, Metal Gear Solid 4 comes out, and he's like, I don't want to do any more games. Then I always think it's a fun story.
I don't think he doesn't want to do any more games. I think Konami wouldn't let him do any more games.
Well, no, see, that's not entirely true, because he kept trying to hand off directorial roles of Metal Gear to other people. Metal Gear Solid 3 wasn't supposed to be directed by him.
Well, yeah, I don't think he wanted to make any more Metal Gear games.
Yeah, but then it's but he keeps getting an idea, because what happened after that was that they announced Metal Gear Rising, you remember the original trailer?
Yeah.
And then there was this whole funny thing about how Metal Gear Rising went into development hell until they finally gave it to Platinum to finish. And meanwhile, Kojima took 7 guys down into the basement of Konami and made Peace Walker in 6 months. We're just going to bang out another game, and it turned out to be a really great game. But I have to appreciate the guy's talent, because between Peace Walker and Metal Gear Solid 5, I remember watching a lot of dev stuff about just creating the Fox engine and how much detail he wanted to be able to put in that stuff. And it's showing off. The fact that we've got Guillermo del Toro, Norman Reedus, and Mads Mikkelsen, and they all are identifiable when you look at them. It's like, oh, shit, that's Mads Mikkelsen. That's Norman Reedus. That's fucking Guillermo del Toro. Is pretty amazing, given where we are. I don't know. It just goes to show that Kojima still... impresses me more than just about anybody else.
So I think this is something you've said, and I'm paraphrasing here. This trailer and this trailer and the last trailer are so full of original ideas that it is super refreshing and super interesting and makes me like really excited to see what trailer comes out next. Like, I know the game's not going to come out anytime soon. Kojima has even admitted in that same little like panel thing, he's like, yeah, I know my games take forever to come out. It's something that, you know,
he's a perfectionist. He likes to.
He goes, I understand that. That's why I usually put hidden messages and hidden things in my trailers.
Yeah,
because I want that to be almost like a game in and of itself, so that people are interested in want to find those little Easter eggs and little hidden messages to keep them engaged until the actual game comes out. So it's almost like I'm giving people two sets of games.
Right.
Which is why so many people are coming up with these crazy fucking theories and doing things to the trailers that make no fucking sense. And
I don't even want to know. Like, I considered watching that panel, and I'm like, I just want to like sit here and wait.
He didn't actually talk anything about story. Like, every time they tried to like get some type of story out of him, he's like, I'm not talking about that.
And that's good. I like that, because then you don't get into this like you don't get into this thing where I know way too much. Like, I have a problem with the amount of trailers and things that we're getting these days where you can actually piece together too much of what's going to happen in a game.
I have no fucking clue what's going on in either of these trailers.
And I love it. Yes. I love it. Anyway, we have to move on because we spent 20 minutes on this and we've got so many other things.
We could probably spend 20 more minutes on it.
Oh, we could probably make this entire podcast about this if we wanted to. Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, there was a new trailer. Did we talk about this one last week?
No.
Oh, okay.
I watched it and I mentioned it to you because I was watching it live while we were taking a break between podcast segments.
This doesn't look too much different than what we've already seen about Breath of the Wild. The only thing that's, I think, really interesting is that there appears to be a new like lady character in there.
Female character, which is probably Zelda.
And there's also some kind of flying machines. I mean, I think that after E3 this year, Nintendo, you sold me. You don't have to show me anything else. I'm going to get it. I'm going to buy it. Like, no problem.
I'm going to buy a Switch. I'm going to buy this.
Yep, I'm going to do it. You don't need to sell me anymore. But it's a fun trailer. I mean, you know, it's a pretty trailer, and it does actually make me kind of interested because it seems, as I've said a million times before, that they're finally trying something new with Zelda, and this whole thing kind of has a little bit of a darker feel. It's more of like a cinematic trailer than just kind of a, you know, let's put on the Zelda theme and then show an action montage and you know, go. So I'm excited for that. Like I'm not going to say that I'm not. Let's see. Oh, Death Stranding was so good. I had 2 trailers for it. All right, Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, the Telltale series official teaser. I think this is interesting.
Showed absolutely nothing
because I'm so excited about Guardians of the Galaxy that I can't wait for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. I'm so over Telltale games that I could give less of 2 craps about whatever. I mean, yeah, they didn't show anything, John, because I don't have to. It's just going to be another Telltale game.
True.
You get a little diamond, and the little thing comes down, and Gamora will remember that, and like, Groot will remember that. Actually, I'll tell you what, if there's a chapter in this where you get to play as Groot, and all 4 of those dialogue options are I am Groot, and that's the entire, like, you play it like a normal Telltale game, but all the dialogue options they keep giving them to you are just I am Groot, I get on board with that. I totally get on board with that. Okay. It seems to me like a weird choice for a Telltale game because Guardians so far has been such an action. The movie was so action heavy that like the social aspect of Guardians of the Galaxy didn't seem to me to be a thing that really would.
Now, here's a question.
A big spinoff.
Here's a question for you, and this is a hypothetical, probably not going to happen. But
yes,
what if they totally surprised you and did something that is not the same old Telltale bullshit game, but with a new property slapped on it, and actually did something that is episodic and that is different, and I don't know how different or in what way, but is different and is them trying to improve or try something new that.
Oh, totally down.
Okay,
totally down. See, here's the thing. I don't harbor any hate for Telltale. We're going to come to this when we go to the PlayStation experience because I got a whole rigmarole that you've already heard and people who watch our live stream probably already heard. But here's the thing. I don't hate Telltale. I'm just not excited by the things that they put out because they're so similar. That's the thing. If they try something new, I'm totally down with that. You know what I would love is I would love for them to put out a game that's almost exactly like their Telltale games, but I would love for them to do the actual work of making it an adventure game again, where you have to So I have this big long spiel that I will try to condense. The problem, okay. One of the most important things about video games is gating, stopping player progress until they achieve a goal. That's what differentiates video games from movies and television and all that stuff, is that if you are watching there's nothing you could do to stop TV from happening.
Except for hitting the pause button.
Exactly. But in Portal 2, you can't move forward in Portal 2 until you figure out the puzzle, right?
Yeah.
In Call of Duty, if you die, if you're not, if you're playing Dark Souls and you don't get good noob, then you can't progress past Ornstein and Smo, and you take the disc out, you snap it in half.
Tell me about it.
The problem with Telltale games is that there's very little gating on them. So so for me, the sense of accomplishment is very low. Once the diamond structure of the first Walking Dead game was revealed to me, and I knew there's nothing you can do to save the character that was going to die because they're going to die. They just dress it up differently. Then it started to become like, okay, well, if your choices don't mean anything, that's all there is to these games, right? Is your choices. That's the main core of the game. So if you get into, so what I'm trying to say here is that I feel like Telltale games need something that stops the player from progressing, that the player has to overcome to progress further in the game, because that's where the sense of accomplishment that makes video games a really special thing comes from. So if you're just playing a game where no matter what you do, you're moving forward, then it starts to lose the same amount of thrill that you get out of playing a game.
Yeah.
And that's what I got. So if they do something different with this, I would love them to do something different with this. I'd love them to do something different with anything that they've done, because quick time events and dialogue trees do not, to me, make a good game. That's the beginning of a good game. But if they just added back in the whole, like, well, you got to find the right widget and use it on the dog over here to open the door to get to the Babelfish or whatever, like, that is classic adventure games. And they used to make those games. And if they did that again, 100% down. Love it. I love adventure games.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a child of Full Throttle and Monkey Island. Fuck, we can talk about the Full Throttle trailer at the PSX. Fucking love Full Throttle. So, yeah, that's just where I stand on that. All right. So some former BioWare and Blizzard devs are making a game called Dauntless, which, as near as I can tell, is just Monster Hunter, but with a Fable skin kind of on it. Did you watch this trailer?
Yeah, I did.
Seems all right. I mean,
okay.
You got, it's kind of this four characters with kind of big, weird looking Monster Hunter weapons, but they all look very kind of Fable TF2 style.
It kind of reminds me of Battleborn.
I can see that. They kind of have a MOBA aesthetic to them, of like they all cut different silhouettes so that you can see how different they are. But they all have very different. I like in this trailer the weapons that they have. Like, this one guy has
a hammer
that he like
rocket on it.
Yeah, he can ride the hammer. That's cool. I like that. And Monster Hunter's turned out to be I think that if a Western developer wants to do their take on Monster Hunter, I'm all for it.
It's a co-op game, so
yeah, we'll check it out. So it's going to be 4 players fighting giant monsters and wandering around in a land. And if it comes out, if it finishes development, seems like it could be really cool. I mean, just from what I've seen here. It's a very well-produced trailer, but I would expect no less from Blizzard / BioWare folks.
Yeah.
So. All right, next up on the list, Mr. Clifford Blazensky brought us a brand new trailer for
huge
Lawbreakers.
Lawbreakers, motherfucker.
Yep. And I don't know that there's much more to say about this than we've said about the. John and I are both very much in the camp of I like Lawbreakers.
Is there more iced tea? That's all I need to know.
I don't believe so. Actually, there's some like kind of hip hop stuff going on in the background here, but
I'm just saying,
kind of one of those, like, everybody's flying around and things are exploding.
Looks good. Looks fun.
Yeah.
Looks stupid.
Yep. I think that I honestly feel keep this in mind, ladies and germs, because we're going to come to this in a big bad way in a few minutes. But the fact that Cliffy B was chained to making just endless Gears of War games for so long makes me sad, because this looks incredible, and I wish that this would have happened instead of Gears of War 2, honestly. But that's just me. I think that this looks like, this and Overwatch are the two freshest breaths of air that I've seen in the first-person online genre for a long time. So.
I will say, just in regards to Cliffy B, the Gears of War franchise was always meant to be a trilogy. He had actually envisioned it as a trilogy and even set it up at the very first game to be a trilogy. Okay. So he chained himself to that.
That's fine. All I know is that Cliffy B is another, there's only a handful of notable video game developer. I mean, less than 60 maybe that we know by name, right?
Yeah.
And he's one of those ones where
he makes interesting games.
This looks cool, and what we played of it when we played the beta was fun in a different way, in a different type of different experience than what I've had before playing online.
Yeah, no, I get that,
and I enjoyed that. I like the new, and that is why I'm more than willing to salivate endlessly over Lawbreakers. That's why watching a trailer like this for something that is ostensibly just a first-person arena shooter, which isn't even really my bag, excites me more than watching the trailer for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, because this looks crazy and new, and I've played it. Speaking of crazy and new, there's also a trailer last week for the VGAs for Shovel Knight Spectre of Torment. Did you watch this trailer?
I did. This is if I'm not mistaken, a DLC update.
Oh, is it? Well, I know it's a prequel to Shovel Knight. I liked Shovel Knight, but I don't know if I liked it as much as the people that really, really, really liked Shovel Knight.
It's a good game.
It is a good game.
I bought a shovel.
It's going to be a prequel to Shovel Knight. It's going to be with what's this guy? Phantom Knight, I guess, is the name of this character, and he can't. He's got different kind of mobility than original Shovel Knight had. So is this all the same levels from?
I don't know,
Shovel
but it is a
Knight?
prequel.
Because I was noticing some stuff at the end, some of the stuff that I've seen looks
similar, very
similar.
I'm sure it used a lot of the same assets.
But regardless, Shovel Knight was super fucking fun, and I'm more than willing to give anything by these guys. They've earned the cred for whatever the next thing is. They get a free pass from me. I'll check it out. Long trailer, but it looks super fun. Looks interesting. Kind of has that same 8-bit NES aesthetic to it that I feel like so many people do, just as a way to try to differentiate themselves, but these guys take this shit real seriously.
Yeah.
This looks like a goddamn NES game. So all right, and let's see, next up there was a trailer for Halo Wars 2. Did you watch this trailer, Josh?
No, I did not.
This is a really interesting trailer because it's all cinematic. And this is all about Atriox, who I didn't play Halo Wars, so I don't know.
Neither did I.
But the thing is that you've got a bunch of USNC people talking to one of the AIs, and this AI is basically telling the story about how, there was this general called Atriox that the the Covenant were using as a shot, him and the Brutes were supposed to be these shock troops, and they were supposed to not survive, and they kept winning, and the Atriox character kept getting more and more hate in him as the campaigns went, and then eventually the Covenant tried to kill him. There's a scene here towards the end where there's a bunch of, I forget who these guys are with the face flaps.
Yeah.
They're gonna take this guy down, and him and his soldiers revolt, and then the same AI goes into saying that when the Covenant went out to the universe, they had two objectives: destroy humanity and bring Atriox back under control. They almost managed to destroy humanity. They never even managed to get close to dealing with Atriox, and that this is the person that is basically the antagonist in Halo Wars 2. It's a great little cinematic thing, and it brings an interesting enemy in that I like. I don't know that much about the Brutes from Halo. I mean, I know they showed up in Halo 2 or 3. They were supposed to replace the Arbiter guys as the main troops, but Did you end up playing any of the beta for Halo Wars 2?
No, I downloaded it, and then by the time I actually had the time to sit down and play it, it was the day after the beta ended.
Okay.
And I was like, well, shit.
Yeah. I don't know. It looks good, and it's a as always with all the Halo stuff, it's a very well put together, very pretty trailer.
Well, it was, what is it, Blur?
Oh, was it? Probably. I mean, they do most of the stuff for Halo, but so yeah, if you guys haven't watched that, I mean, like, it kind of got me a little bit excited for Halo Wars, in spite of the fact that I'm not the biggest fan of Halo in the world. Not that I don't like Halo, I'm not a big super fan of it. So
yeah, I just like the idea of the fact that Halo Wars, like the original one, the whole reason that they actually finally greenlit it is because Halo was originally supposed to be an RTS.
Oh yeah, yep. Oh yeah, Halo. The original design doc for Halo was really interesting.
Yeah. So then they said, well, fuck it, let's actually make that RTS.
Yep. All right, and then last but certainly not least, I saved the best for last, John. Big old Mass Effect Andromeda gameplay trailer. Finally getting to see some actual boots on the ground Mass Effect Andromeda gameplay. What are your thoughts? You
It looks like Mass Effect.
Yeah, it does. It looks an awful lot like Mass Effect.
I mean, I'm having said that, I want to play it, but you know, looks like Mass Effect.
Yeah, it does. I mean, I think that like they kind of have this thing where they're showing off an environment tech, and that looks great. They have a part where they're kind of showing off walking around in a city, and that, I mean, you know, it looks good. It doesn't look like anything we haven't seen before, right? But walking around,
I think the animation looks better.
Yeah. Oh no, it all looks better. There's some interesting stuff that we see with like a scanning, like they're showing like parts of a mission, and they have this kind of like scanner that the main character has that they can look around and kind of do like an Arkham Asylum like crime scene investigation type of thing, which is interesting. When it comes to the actual action, though, it looks very much like kind of Mass Effect 3. It looks like as Mass Effect 2 was an incremental update to Mass Effect 1, and as Mass Effect 3 was an incremental update to Mass Effect 2, it looks like an incremental update to Mass Effect 3. Like,
I mean, it looks cool. I mean, I definitely like the thing where the character jumps up in the air and then does the biotic
the Vanguard
move.
rush.
Yeah, the Vanguard rush thing. I thought that looked really cool.
Yeah. I mean, it looks like Mass Effect has always had a kind of at least in my mind, Mass Effect has always been a little stiff, and this looks a little bit more loose. And it does, though, make me wonder how this particular, like, I almost would have rather seen this like little combat scenario play out with some different classes, and I wonder if they're going to be using the same classes, because this seems to have the same Vanguard biotic rush, but then they also have a shield that they were able to put up, which is kind of interesting. You know, it looks like, honestly, it looks an awful lot like the jump from Dragon Age 2 to Dragon Age Inquisition. It seems kind of the same thing here. It looks like there's a bunch of stuff where you're wandering around, picking up, resources to be able to craft new gear, and there's, hostile stuff in the environment. So, yeah, I mean, it looks good. Again, this is one of those things, again, where I have to go back into my overall excitement level for certain things and say, this looks good. I will play it. I am not literally urinating in my pants for a chance to get to play it. Like, I would pee myself on stage in front of all of you if I could play Death Stranding, if there was 15 minutes worth of Death Stranding to play. That's an open invitation, Mr. Kojima. I will pee myself in front of whoever you want to play Death Stranding. I'll even play it with my pants full of pee. I don't care. I don't give a shit.
That's if there is even 15 minutes worth of Death Stranding to play.
I don't think there's any amount of Death Stranding that's available to play at this point.
I think they're doing back-end stuff right now.
Yeah, I think they're doing engine stuff and like early tech stuff.
Yeah.
But this looks good. I mean, it looks better than, it looks like it looks like a current gen game. It looks action packed. It looks like
It's better than that fucking thing that they showed at whatever that last.
Oh, the jumping. There's jumping, John.
We're walking down a hallway. And
look.
Oh, the Sony. We're gonna show you what it looks like.
Yeah.
Don't watch this video if you don't have 4K, because you're totally missing out. So just stop this video right now and go get a 4K TV, you plebeian.
I'm starting to get over that one, John, but it seems like it's still just making you very upset.
It doesn't actually. I just wanted to.
I don't know. It looks good though, and Like, I like the fact that it also looks like towards the end that you can see there's like an infiltrator class, which I played through Mass Effect 2, I believe, at one point with an infiltrator class. But yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. I hope that I like it more than Dragon Age Inquisition, because I kind of got bored of Dragon Age Inquisition.
Me too. I didn't play Dragon Age Inquisition though, so
yeah. And that is the Video Game Awards, and we are now at 39 minutes. So let's now move into the meat of the actual stuff, which is the Sony PlayStation experience. All right, so I didn't actually watch any of the panels. I didn't actually watch the presentation because it was going on
while you were recording
something else. There was a million things.
I think you were recording videos.
Oh, I think I was doing Steep while that was going on.
Yeah, you were recording videos with Joe. I was at work, not actually working, watching the panels, everything. I was watching everything.
Yeah, and
yeah, that was fun. I missed some of it because I had to leave the office to go to lunch, but you know.
All right. Well, so I pulled up these trailers, and we're not going in like the order that they were released. We're going
probably for the best,
the order that I decided, and then I've actually had so many goddamn YouTube windows that I had to split between like new/regular game announcements, and then here is a separate browser window with all of the HD re-releases, remakes, reboots, whatever. So first up, though. The Last of Us 2.
Yeah, this is one of the trailers I didn't get to watch live because I left the office.
Yeah. In case you've been living under a rock, they're making The Last of Us 2. And this is where I come back around to saying I am okay. I'm not excited about The Last of Us 2. I'm going to play it. I'm sure it's going to be good. I would much rather have Naughty Dog out there making other games that were not Uncharted, that were not The Last of Us, because Uncharted and The Last of Us were such good games. I want them making new franchises, not just making sequels to existing franchises. That's what it is. I'm not saying it's going to be bad, because I don't think it's going to be bad. Just please, Internet, for once, let's not take lack of set your hair on fire enthusiasm for, like, I hate it, because that's not what's going on here. That's all I wanted to say.
So I will say I thought it was interesting because on the actual press conference, Naughty Dog opened the press conference with something else and then ended the press conference with this.
Yeah.
So Naughty Dog was all over that fucking like that first stream or whatever.
Yep.
I also thought it was interesting that the girl who does the voice of what's her name, Ellie?
Ellie, yep.
Yeah. The girl who does the voice of Ellie. She apparently, when they sent her the script for this and had her actually come in and sing for the first time just to see if she could sing it, apparently they went, oh no, and she's like, oh no, did I suck? And they're like, no, you were too good. Like we need to. They actually had to bring in a vocal coach to make her sing worse.
Right. Okay. Because the trailer basically has her. She's covered in like blood and wounds, and she's playing a guitar. She's kind of singing this song about. I don't know. I don't like stuff, and
there's also some weird theories online about this.
And then Joel comes in and is basically like, "Let's go. We're gonna do a thing." I mean, you know what? Here's another thing that I just thought of that I hadn't thought of before. I also think that we need to take that this trailer looks fantastic.
Yeah,
but it should be taken with a grain of salt, because we should all remember what the first Uncharted 4 trailer looked like. And Uncharted 4 is not a bad-looking game, but it doesn't look like that first trailer did.
Yeah.
That first trailer was obviously touched up, and I don't know if they changed in their development. They had to scale back the engine a little bit because they couldn't make it work. But I think that The Last of Us 2 will look good. I don't think it's going to look this good.
Yeah, it may not. Now, I also, like I said, there's some weird theories. Like, there's this whole theory about the fact that the way Joel walks in and the way he doesn't interact with anything, people are theorizing that Joel's actually dead and just a figment of her imagination.
Please don't tell me that. I don't want to know. Well, yeah, it doesn't really. I mean, I don't know.
But it's just the fact that, like, he just walks in, he doesn't touch anything, everything's already happened.
Yeah.
And then he's just like, "What are you doing?"
Look, I have this article that I read last week where somebody was like, watching that show Westworld, because the finale for Westworld was last week, and somebody wrote this article online where they're like, "Oh man, I loved going to Reddit and reading like all the theories about what was going on in Westworld,"
and then was totally not surprised by anything.
And then the Reddit figured it out, and they spoiled this person. They were like, "But they ruined it," and I'm like, "That's your fault. Don't go read things if you don't want to know things." So, but I don't know. Okay. Are you excited for this? You didn't really play The Last of Us, though.
I played it. I beat it. I didn't care for it.
Okay.
But here's the thing. Me saying I didn't care for it is, again, one of those situations of I played it and I went, oh, this is... I had a lot of difficulty with it because it's a very sneak game.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't like those. I don't like those at all.
Yeah.
And and it's not that it's a bad game, because I actually, I get it. I know why people like it. I understand it. It is a good game. Like, it's just not a game for me. And so a sequel to it is kind of not interesting to me.
I just keep coming back to the idea that The Last of Us, to me, was a great game with a beginning, a middle, and end. It had a very clear-cut emotional through line. Zombie outbreak happens, man loses daughter, man loses hope, man is put into a situation where he has to escort a young child, and in the course of that, they bond, and she becomes his new daughter, right? And at the end of the game, it has a dark twist ending, spoiler alert for The Last of Us, where, he kills the resistance to save her, because even though what's in her brain could save the world, he can't stand the idea of losing his daughter for a second time.
Well, because they were going to kill her.
They were going to kill her. Yeah, they were going to cut her open her brain to find out why she was immune to the virus or the fungus, and that was going to kill her. And he couldn't stand to see his new child. He couldn't stand to see his child get killed a second time. And there's a lot of really interesting emotional interaction between him and her. There's interesting emotional interaction between Joel and his partner at the beginning of that game. Yeah. There's that whole subsection with the guy from the Matrix and his kid that show up, and they adventure for a little while. And I thought it was a beautiful game, and it ends on this very kind of
ambiguous.
Yeah, just kind of, cut to black, like where she says okay, and then they just cut to black. It's like if you told me that they were making a sequel to Fight Club. I fucking love Fight Club, but that was a story with a beginning, a middle, and end.
They did make a sequel to Fight Club.
I know, and I don't like to think about that, but it was like a comic book, right?
It was, but it's a legit sequel.
Yeah. Anyway, I like the idea. There's two parts of me. One is that I felt like The Last of Us was a story, and I think that Uncharted 4, and especially not as much, but Uncharted 3 and 4 to me showed that while Naughty Dog is technically a very proficient company that makes very good games and does make good stories, sometimes I feel like they should quit, because Uncharted 3 was not as good as Uncharted 2 to me. That's just my opinion. You disagree with you want. And Uncharted 4 was not as good as Uncharted 3 to me either. So Uncharted 4 was not as good as 1 or 2. 1 and 2 were a great pair of adventure, swashbuckling, do stuff games. But they kept feeling the need to make more of them, and I feel like I'd rather see Naughty Dog take their creativity, take their technical expertise, and go make something else instead of trying to extend something. Honestly, I have no evidence, but honestly, because and you told me that they came up with an idea that they decided they would do if they came with a good idea, they would do a sequel to The Last of Us, and that they did. But honestly, I feel like there's also a component of fans want a sequel, and Sony definitely wants you to make a sequel. So it's one of those things where like I said, I'm sure it's going to be a fine game. Who knows? I mean, man, I've been wrong before. Like, it could be like, oh shit, I didn't even know I wanted the sequel, and it's so great. But I'm just starting to get tired. 2016 has tired me the fuck out for sequels and HD remakes. Like, I want new stuff. It's why Death Stranding tickles my funny bones, and why this doesn't do as much for me. But that's, again, just me.
I also did like that in the panel that happened later in the day. Another thing they talked about was, again, they didn't spoil anything. They didn't talk about the story at all. But they said thematically, where the first game was about love, where like him discovering that he loves her, and that kind of, he goes, this one is about hate.
Yep.
This one is purely about hate.
Yep. And I mean, there's a vector there for her finding out what he did, and basically kind of the second, like the crumbling of their relationship being the dark middle chapter. But you know what? I even don't want that to happen, because that sets you up then for the third one, right? This is the Empire Strikes Back of your new Last of Us trilogy. I don't know. I like a good one and done thing. I'm so tired of people setting up sequels, of setting up season 2, of setting up an extension for the next thing, that I really just would have rather them do something else, because I think they're a super talented company that makes really good games. So anyway.
Yeah, but every game that's good, everyone wants a sequel of, so, you know.
I know, and I hate that. I mean, you know, like, I think that, like, going back to Death Stranding, I think that Kojima would have been better served if after Metal Gear Solid 3 he would have gone. I mean, Metal Gear Solid 3 probably wouldn't have been as good if he had been a producer as opposed to director, but like, Death Stranding is one of the most interesting things I've seen in a long time, just because of how strange it was. I mean, remember how people were more excited for a Silent Hill game than I've ever seen them, regardless of whether they knew who Hideo Kojima was. That PT demo was something so...
It was a talking bag of burritos.
Interesting and new, and bag of burritos, Francesca the chicken fetus, and everybody was just like, oh my God, to the point where I could probably sell this PS4 for more than it should go for because it's got the PT demo on it if I let somebody have my account or whatever. And I like it when developers get to make their own thing. It's why I'm really excited that what's his face, BioShock guy, Ken Levine, is making something crazy new with a small team instead of continuing to be forced to make, or not forced, but just continuing to make BioShock after BioShock after BioShock, because I like new stuff, and new stuff to me is better than old stuff. Case in point, instead of Uncharted 4, I would have much rather seen Uncharted The Lost Legacy, which is we don't even really know yet. Do we? Spin-off?
They kind of said that it was, they kind of implied a couple different things. Like, one, I heard that it's going to be a standalone thing.
Yeah.
Another thing I've heard is that it's a downloadable thing, much like The Last of Us, what was the... Left Behind.
Left Behind, was that what it was?
But that it's going to be, like, much bigger than that. Like, it's a much bigger...
So kind of like an Undead Nightmare type of thing? Like a smaller... Yeah. But yeah, this is, I mean, you know, it takes this video 8 minutes to get to the reveal, but...
Well, also, they opened the show with this.
Oh, did they?
Yeah,
okay.
like, so they didn't even tell you what it was. They didn't even, like, no one walked out and introduced it. This is what started the show.
Okay.
So most of it was people going, what? Fucking game is this?
Yeah. So we've got a lady in a, I don't know what that is. It's like a burqa, and these kind of covering robes, like walking around in the streets of I believe it's India.
Yeah.
And there's like militia about. There's some like shit going down in the streets, and she's got a cell phone that and her face is covered. And she's supposed to go meet somebody, and a lot of this is just kind of moving around, doing stuff. You know, dialogue with these soldiers, and like kind of walking through doors and upstairs and avoiding patrols and stuff like that. But at the very, very end, it's revealed, spoiler alert for the end of this 8 minutes, because I'm going to talk about it the entire time. This is the Chloe and Nadine spin-off game from Uncharted.
And it takes place after Uncharted 4.
Which is great, because I fucking... well, first off, I've got a hardcore... everything for Claudia Black. I mean,
who doesn't?
Aaron Soon, man. Come on. I don't care.
And I'm being, when I say who doesn't, I mean that.
He's asking. He's legitimately asking you, listener.
I know women who are like, I'm not even gay, but Claudia Black.
Yeah. And did you actually play Uncharted 4?
I did not. Uncharted 4 is weird because I love Uncharted. I love Uncharted 2. I never finished Uncharted 3. And I rented Uncharted 4.
Yeah.
And then sent it back without ever playing it.
Yeah. Well, Nadine was a great character in Uncharted 4. There's a whole scene where she kicks the shit out of Nathan Drake, and it was really fun. She's kind of the leader of a bunch of militia people that the big bad guy has hired. And I like this. I like the idea of kind of having, you know, because these are two characters that Nadine was a great new character in Uncharted 4, and I fucking love Chloe. I'm like, I thought that Chloe was a way better choice than Elena Drake. You guys could have been wandering the world drinking fucking Mai Tais for the rest of your life, but oh no, I gotta get a salvage company. I'm Nathan Drake. But yeah, all of this, again, this is a great example of how Naughty Dog does good action, good trailers, good kind of cinematic stuff. The interplay between the two of them is, you know, they only have a couple lines at the end, but it's good. And I'd much rather see this than another Uncharted game. Like, I would have rather played this than Uncharted 4.
Some kind of spin-off game using one of the side characters.
Yeah, I'd rather play there was a whole, so Drake's brother in Uncharted 4, like him and Sully have an interesting relationship because Sully's like looking out for Drake and he doesn't really trust his brother. But they're both kind of rakish. They're both a lot more rakish than Drake is at this point because Drake's a fucking family man, right? And towards the end, they have a kind of a camaraderie between them. I'd love to play a Sully and other guy game. I'd love to play an Uncharted game where they made it that it wasn't about jumping from rock to rock for 12 hours.
And that's maybe what this is.
Maybe so. I mean, I don't know. Like I like new stuff. And these characters represent a different direction,
a different variation on.
Yeah, you can still make your Uncharted game, but just make it about somebody who's not Nathan Drake. I know Nathan Drake's story. I've seen it. I've seen the beginning, the middle, and the end.
I actually felt them telling Nathan Drake's origin in 3 was a bad idea because that actually made me care about the game less.
I don't know how people haven't pointed out that they told his origin in Uncharted 3 and then told it again in Uncharted 4. Like they doubled down. Both of those games flashback. It's almost like when they were making Uncharted 4, they were like, well, what did people like about the last one? Like, oh, man, they loved it when it was young Drake. And it's like, okay, do 12 times as much of that in the next game.
Yeah, it's like, I didn't like young Drake. I just have him be Nathan Drake, and I don't need to know that his name, he really wasn't Nathan Drake. I don't need to know that shit. And that he stole the ring.
Naked Snake. That's what his name was.
Yeah.
Anyway, this looks good.
It looks good, yeah.
I want to play it.
Yeah, looks fun.
I definitely want to play it. We got to start going a little bit faster because we can't talk about every one of these much. Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, the least, the worst kept secret in.
Well, we didn't know it was called Infinite.
Well, yeah, the worst kept secret of last week, I guess.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a new Marvel vs. Capcom, and
apparently the Infinity Stones play a big part in power ups and things in this game.
Of course they do. But what about the Power Stones? Do they play?
I don't think they do.
No.
Unless they insinuate that they're the same thing.
Oh, man.
Oh.
Power Stones are Infinity Gems. Yeah, so, I mean, this is a mostly... Well, I don't know. Is this engine? Is this engine?
So this... They actually had 2 trailers. Mm-hmm. There's this one that was shown during the thing, which is just a cinematic thing. And then there's actually an in-game engine
I saw
trailer.
that one. The one where they announced Morgan and Captain America.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. But yeah.
But so far we see Morgan, we see Captain America.
It also feels like all the Marvel characters are the movie version, so that rumor about it only being the Marvel cinematic characters seems to be true so far.
Well, except that Ms. Marvel isn't. I mean,
she's got a movie coming out. That'll be out probably by the time, before the end of, within the next couple of years.
Oh, okay.
Well, so they've already cast Miss Marvel.
Oh, have they?
Yeah.
I don't keep up with that shit. I mean, I just don't.
And she's Captain Marvel, not Miss Marvel. Sorry. Sorry, comic book fans, before you get mad at me. But.
And wait, is that Ultron with, what was in his?
I have no idea.
Arnim Zola or something like that?
Yeah.
Anyway, this is, I mean, there's not really much to say. As we established last week, neither one of us are the biggest MVC. Are you?
I am. I love Marvel's Capcom.
Okay. It's too fast for me, and I don't understand what the fuck is going on the screen. But
again, as I've constantly told people, I love fighting games. I love Marvel vs. Capcom. I love Street Fighter. I love Mortal Kombat. I love Last Blade. I love Final Fight and King of Fighters. I just suck at fighting games.
Okay.
But I still love the shit out of them.
Yeah, so, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what really could be said about this because there isn't a whole hell of a lot of detail, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's a new game. It's got Marvel characters. It's got Capcom characters.
It's coming out next year, which I actually think that was the bigger surprise for me, is that it's coming out next year.
Yeah.
I honestly thought that they were going to announce it and be like, it's coming out in 2018.
Yeah. So... yeah, that happened.
And then they announced which I'm assuming is the next thing you're going to talk about, or is this it's a remaster? Never mind, you're
remasters are in a different section, John.
You are talking about something in a different section, but all right, go on.
Next up, you like Marvel vs. Capcom, and I like Dark Souls, and so any excuse to watch a trailer for Nioh is an excuse that I will take because...
Nice attempt at a transition there.
Hey, man, my segues are the best. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I can't wait for Nioh. This game looks so good. And
it does. It looks really good.
Story trailer has more just like demons and story. And, it almost seems like... I know that we've talked about this kind of ad nauseum, but it almost seems like Nioh is... Dark Souls if it actually had a cinematic storyline going on with it instead of just like item descriptions, because there's like characters and there's like cutscenes and shit.
Yeah.
And
looks good though.
Some big old monsters. A big frog man with some shit. Got some guy with a big lava tongue. Lava tongue. Come on, that's insane. But yeah, I wish this was out this year, because in all honesty, now that we've kind of come to the end of the year, I feel like this probably would have been like number 1, number 2, unless those demos are really, really, really not in any way, shape, or form an indicator of what the game is going to be like. Unless those demos were just straight up lying to me about what this game is going to be like, that would have probably been, if there was a full 16 to 20 hour game behind that action style, I probably would have put that as game of the year, because I just, what I played of it so far, I fucking love. And I tell you, it's between this and the next thing that we're going to talk about, I'm finally excited to see some people doing, like, I've said this before, taking the DNA of the Souls franchise and then doing something interesting with it that's different and new, right? Not just aping it, not just trying to make like, oh, it's Dark Souls, but it's like, what's the new one from the Lords of the Fallen guys, where it looks like, oh, it's Dark Souls, but it's robots, but it's like in the future. And you're
I don't remember the title of it, but I know what you're talking about.
And who knows? That game might not be bad, but like Lords of the Fallen, Dark Mouse, Salt and Sanctuary, I like those games well enough, but I like it better when the developer uses the aesthetic of hard, stamina-driven, kind of with the a certain type of upgrade mechanic and a certain type of skill-based gameplay, and then they do their own thing with it, and Nioh really feels like that. And I'll tell you, in a really, really strange way, John, you know what else feels like that? It hurts me. It hurts me that they wait until the end of the year to put out things that are as insane and as wonderful as Let It Die.
Oh, man.
I fucking
love
this game.
And what I loved about it is they showed the trailer for it and then went, oh, yeah, by the way, it's out now.
Yep. I love Let It Die.
Just call me Uncle Death, man.
I mean, like, hey, for those of you who don't know, do you remember the original trailer for Let It Die? Where it was like a bunch of live action people like wandering around in dark steam hallways with like buzzsaws and stuff. And yeah, this thing is out. This is the new Suda 51 game, and
it's free to play.
It's free to play, and it's kind of incredible.
If you haven't downloaded it, you should. Even if you don't like Dark Souls, you should still play it.
I highly recommend it. Oh man, I ran into what these guys are.
Oh, I haven't gotten to them yet.
Oh, I ran into one of. Sorry, John, we're just talking about this. Like these hunters that just killed it was a lady. She killed me in one shot. And that shot did like 9,999,999 damage, and I'm just like, what the fuck? But yeah, this is basically okay. So there's a tower. It's got 40 levels, I believe,
and they claim that it's growing, so they could always add more later.
Yep. It's kind of amazing. Like I kind of would do a mini review of it, except that I'm not quite in it, and we are going to do dojos for it. I just want to let everybody know that. It's just that I have to pace myself in December and. Because there's not anything coming out between now and January 10th, so I have to like space this shit out. But it's actually incredibly brilliant because unlike Dark Souls, like you hit level cap really quick, and then what you're supposed to do is basically have multiple characters that you switch between.
Yeah.
And they can specialize in different things like attacking or defending or like
and then if you end up like if you get to a level and you kind of realize that okay, this level, the way the enemies are not, or this floor, the way the enemies are, maybe not so much like get up close and personal. I may want to attack them from a distance. Okay, let me find an elevator, go back to my place, and switch my character.
Yep. No, there's just I mean I don't even want to get into it because there's a ton.
There's a ton of stuff that I really dig.
Is that if you're a fucking fan of Rage Select and I got to get killed by your fucking hater, then you're on my shit list.
I'm on your shit list?
You're not on my shit list yet. Your guy almost killed me, and then I jumped back and I shot him in the face with a bottle rocket, and it destroyed him. But when a person dies in Let It Die, you can choose to resurrect, or you could choose to leave your corpse where it died, and it will hunt other people, and then when you go kill it, you can get all of the rewards back from it. This has unfortunately led to a problem where people are getting level 60 characters with machine guns and then letting themselves die on the first floor of the game to troll newbies for that, and that sucks.
Yeah, no, I can totally see that.
Especially because the thing is that I've got plenty of high-level characters, but I still have to go level up level 1 characters because when you get to the second tier of characters, like all my other characters level cap at level 19, I got a bunch of new ones level cap at like 39, and I have to restart from ground zero with those. Anyway, fucking Let It Die is great.
It's a great game.
I mean, Uncle Death and
you know, as far as like the free to play, what's the payman mechanic? It's literally the resurrect thing. They give you these little coins that you can earn in game.
Yep. You get a certain number every day.
And basically, these coins, and every time you die, it takes one of these coins to resurrect your character. So if you wanna keep resurrecting your same character or whatever without it losing it and then it becoming a hater and you having to go.
Well, you also have to pay the regular currency to revive your character, and there's a possibility that you might not have enough of it to do that. So there's some issues there. It also can be used there's research that takes time. The higher tiers of research take time. You can use a coin to basically instantly do that research instead of waiting for it to go. And I can see that I'm at level 15 of the tower, and so far I haven't had a single research thing that's taken more than about 20 minutes. But I can see how
you're way farther than me. I think the highest level I got was level 5.
Dude, I not only have gone,
but then again, I played it obsessively on that Saturday, a little bit on Sunday, and then a little bit on that Monday, and then I've been playing Dead Rising 4 ever since.
I got to tell you though, watching this, you know what it made me want more than anything, John? I was like, I want Suda51 to make a Persona game. I want a Persona game that is this level of insanity because Suda51 does not make mechanically super good games.
No.
Like, there's some looseness. This is
some
probably
arcadey to it.
This is probably a better game than some of his other ones have been because obviously he's been working on it for like 3 years.
Yeah.
But it still is not Dark Souls or Nioh quality Souls, right? Like
but there's definitely Dark Souls elements to it.
Oh, absolutely. There's stamina management and weapon degradation, stuff like that. But what there is it's just got so much goddamn personality. Uncle Death, the characters in the arcade, there's the Mushroom Priestess, there's the spaceman with the Charlie Chan mustache fucking
You mean the guy that looks like Hitler wearing a spacesuit?
Yes.
Space helmet?
Yes. Have you gotten to the Johnny Cab yet?
No, I have not.
There's like a whole thing where this basically, it looks like the Johnny Cab thing comes out and just rattles around.
Oh, yeah, no, I have gotten that. Sorry. Yeah, no, I have gotten that.
Also, by the way, there is a premium thing that you can get in this where it's basically like you buy it a month at a time where you pay and for tickets, and then you get to use like an elevator that'll let you go without paying anything, and there's a few other rewards that you get. So there are rewards, but honestly, trust me, it is not offensive. Not nearly as offensive as some of the other paid.
I haven't paid any money for anything yet, and I'm having tons of fun.
I've considered. I even went to go consider paying money because I was having so much fun, and I was like, I want you to have my money, Suda51. But I just couldn't bring myself. Like the rewards were so low that I was like.
Yeah, I think a lot of the rewards that you're talking about with the tickets and things like that didn't come out right away. Didn't go live until like Monday or Tuesday or whatever, and I haven't played it since then because I've been playing something else.
Oh man, it's so good.
But I want to get back to it.
It's so good.
Like it's definitely going to be that game that I go to when I'm bored.
You know what? I'm trying really hard not to just like spend an inordinate amount of time complaining about Final Fantasy 15. That's going to come later. But what I can say is that Let It Die came out. I downloaded it. I started playing it. I didn't stop playing it, and I kept going. I really need to play Final Fantasy 15, The Last Guardian, Dead Rising 4, and about 4 other games. But none of them are as fun as this fucking Suda51 piece of shit.
Free to play game.
Weird roguelike Dark Souls, buzzsawing your face. I'm shooting you. Hey, here's a pro tip when you play Let It Die. Always, always, always bring the fireworks gun with you because you can instantly cook frogs and they do a lot more health. I mean, just the mushroom and the... Anyway,
no, it's great.
Gotta move on.
I love it.
Uncle
Great
Death.
game.
I'm going to be Uncle Death for Halloween next year.
You should be.
All right, so speaking of death, this doesn't make any sense.
That doesn't.
Yakuza Kiwami was announced. They are basically remaking the original PlayStation 2 version of Yakuza in the current Yakuza engine, and Yeah, so in addition next year to Yakuza 0 and Yakuza 6, we will also have Yakuza Kiwami. It's going to be a Yakuza... I'm going Yakuza crazy. I'm going crazy Uza. Sorry. So yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't work as well as some other puns that that are similar to what you're talking about.
I'm trying. Yeah, so... This is cool. I kind of wish that everybody would do this. I kind of wish that whenever, because I feel like they announced they announced Yakuza 6, right?
Yeah.
And then shortly after that, they were like, and we're also making a prequel, Yakuza 0, same engine. And then they were like, and we also remade the first one with this new engine because it's so good and we love it. I kind of wish that every time, like when Dark Souls 3 came out, that they were like, and we also remade Dark Souls 2 and 1 and Demon Souls in this engine.
Okay, Mr. I hate remakes and I'm tired of them.
I do hate remakes, but I guess, okay.
I'm actually okay with this one just because I never played the original Yakuza, so.
That is the difference. I don't like the HD remaster Ezio collection because I played those games. But if you want to go back and take PlayStation 2 games that legitimately look kind of shitty now and remake them fully in another engine, I'm cool with that, bro. I'm cool with whatever you want. If you want to go back and take Siphon Filter and totally remake it from the ground up with modern mechanics and a modern engine, got no problem. Bring in Bruce Campbell to do the main character, do whatever you want to. Because... Yeah.
And then they announced the U.S. release date for Yakuza 6.
Yeah, which I thought was going to be fucking... Oh, that's 2018. Okay, Yakuza Kiwami is summer 2017, and then Yakuza 6 is early 2018, which sucks because the website that I had said it was coming out in December.
Again, I think it comes out like in Japan.
Yes. I actually got kind of rolled by Game Informer's release website because it turns out that Akiba's Beat doesn't come out until March of next year. So I thought I had Yakuza 6 and Akiba's Beat. No.
You don't.
No. Don't have either one of those. Got nothing. I'll tell you what I got. I got a little gem that by the time this podcast comes out, people will have seen already called, God, what the hell was the name of that game that we played yesterday? We were going to play it for Super Awesome Video Game Show.
You son of a bitch.
We're going to play the demo. Shadow Tactics Blades of the Shogun.
Okay.
This quick plug for those of you who maybe didn't watch Indie Friday. So Shadow Tactics Blades of the Shogun is Commandos if it was Samurais and Ninjas.
Nice.
Yeah, it's fucking great. And you can like set up coordinated things where you like hit a button and then both your ninjas jump out of the thing and they're like, ha ha ha. So anyway, I'm on board with Yakuza. I like the Yakuza franchise. And I never got a chance to play the first one, so I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to checking that out.
To play the first one. All right, next up on the hit parade, Horizon Zero Dawn. I feel like Horizon Zero Dawn is starting to become one of those too many trailers games.
Yeah.
Because we got another trailer here, which it's fine. It looks.
Oh, okay, no wait. Okay, I take it back. Because earlier we were talking about it, and I was like, I don't think I've ever seen any wildlife in these games. And then just then I saw an actual boar, and then there were actual legit birds, like not mechanical creatures flying.
Yeah. So. I mean, what we've got here is basically a voiceover talking about like, oh, the world doesn't belong to us, and if you get the machines and Terminator, Judgment Day, and whatever, and
you got to go out there and you got to do your thing and discover secrets.
Yeah, with a lot of like in between. I mean, and none of it looks bad.
Oh yeah, no, it looks great. This game has always looked good. I want to play it. I like. There comes a time where this type of trailer, where you get too many of these types of trailers, to the point where I just want to see something. At least it didn't have a soulful cover of a modern song.
Did it?
Modern rock song.
Didn't it? No, it didn't.
I mean, it might have had a soulful song, but not like a soulful cover.
I'll tell you the one thing. I mean, it looks fantastic. All the robot animals look really good. I did also notice, like, this was just really impressive to me, as there's a scene where, in a slightly different biome than the kind of like plains that we've seen, where the main character is hunting in a jungle, and I love the detail, if this is in the actual engine, of a bunch of ants crawling up this tree, dragging little leaves and stuff with them. Just, little things to make the world. It looks like a really good looking world.
Yeah.
So, is this how early next year is Horizon? Is it February of next
February
year?
or March?
Something
but yeah.
like that. In any case, it looks really good, and I feel like I would like to see either some style of gameplay that I haven't seen before, which they've already shown a fair amount of gameplay, or some amount of story that I haven't seen before, because this is one of those cases where what was like we've had a couple examples of other things where it was like, oh man, there was a new there was a new trailer for Game X, and it was basically just more of the same footage.
Do you mean every trailer for No Man's Sky?
Or that? Oh, well, at least until it came out and everybody started obsessively picking over every single detail of what was going on in every trailer for No Man's Sky.
Yeah.
Next up, not my favorite, but a lot of people really like Nino Kuni. Nino Kuni 2, Revenant Kingdom.
I didn't even know they were making this. Like, it totally caught me off guard. Like, I'm not excited. Like, I didn't really care about Nino Kuni. I was like, what the fuck? Who asked for a sequel? All right.
I think it's sold well enough. I mean, I know it's got kind of a cult following, or at least it seems like. You know what? I don't actually know that. I say that based on the level of excitement from people from Rage Select and Spill over the years. Right? Is that there seems to be people who really, 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 really like Nino Kuni. I was not as much in that camp, but if this kind of eschews the whole like, oh, in the real world, your mom is dead thing, and is more just kind of like a big adventure in a fantasy world, and they keep it moving a little bit faster. If it doesn't have that fucking nose motherfucker, the Irish-ass nose motherfucker, this looks to me better than the first Nino Kuni, because this looks a little bit more, not hugely, but a little bit more grown up than the first one. The first one was just so, like, it didn't feel like it. I felt like I was too old for it. Like, it was just, I don't know.
I never played it.
It was, I mean, like, couldn't get into it. It didn't hook me. But the trailer looks good. I mean, the engine still looks really good.
Yeah.
Characters all look real nice.
And now that a lot of anime is using this type of CGI look, it looks more like an anime than ever before.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Kind of lines up with a lot of what anime looks like these days. But yeah, Nino Kuni 2, Revenant Kingdom. All right, one more, and then I think we're going to take a break, John, because we're almost at an hour and 20 minutes. So, strangely, now I could say for certain here that I love to watch trailers for the Ace Combat franchise.
And this is a PlayStation VR game.
It has a VR mode. You don't have to have VR to play.
Ah, okay. Because that was the big thing that they were promoting about it, was the PlayStation VR.
Yeah. I mean, like, have you ever played any of the Ace Combat games?
No.
I know a couple of my friends that are really into it. And I'm actually really surprised when I watch this trailer of the amount of, like, people walking around having cutscenes, as opposed to just flying. But it looks really good. I mean, it looks real fun. Maybe this will be the one where I actually go and play an Ace Combat game, because this is, Ace Combat 7? I mean, they got to be doing something right if they made 7 of these things.
Yeah.
Make enough money.
And you're going to fly over someone inverted.
Yep.
And then tell them to look up.
Inverted. Yep. It's international relations. That's what I was engaged in. But no, this looks good, and it's got a kind of an appropriate anime. It reminds me of Wings of Homines
okay, yeah,
or whatever,
no, I get what you're saying.
Or even like Macross Plus kind of thing.
Yeah, I can see that.
So I don't know. When it comes out, I'm definitely going to give it a shot. I don't remember the last time that an Ace Combat game came out. I think it was I think Ace Combat 6 was like an early PlayStation 3 title. Let me just check that real fast. I don't know. I feel like we don't get that many flight games just in general anymore. That there just aren't that many flying around doing stuff games. Xbox 360 only. Okay, well that would, and god damn, that was 2007 was when Ace Combat 6 came out, and it was just an Xbox 360 exclusive. It looks like, so damn. All right, and with that, we're going to go ahead and we're going to take a break. We actually have
a shit ton more.
We got about almost as many trailers as we've just gone over to still go over, and then we have also the other news and other trailers. So I don't think we're going to get to emails this week, folks.
Because we also got some other stuff we want to talk about that's not news and trailers.
Absolutely. So stick around, and we'll be right back in just a minute. Oh, and we are back. And it's a long one today, folks. There's too many trailers.
Strap your butts in, because we're not done yet.
There's too many trailers.
It's Trailer Palooza, motherfuckers!
John's really excited about these trailers.
Yeah, I am.
John, tell me how excited you are about Gran Turismo Sport.
I'm hyped.
Are you pumped?
Yeah, I'm.
You ready? Ready to go?
I can't contain.
Yeah, see, you're just busted. You're busted with excitement.
I'm good.
Gran Turismo Sport. I don't know that John and I are going to have a whole hell of a lot to say about this because
it looks like Gran Turismo.
Neither one of us are really racing guys. This is every time
that car was blinking at us.
Yeah.
Wait.
Is this the Cars?
Is this Pixar's Cars? Is this Cars 3?
Is this Pixar's Gran Turismo Sport?
Oh my God! Is all of Cars 3 is done in the Gran Turismo engine?
Oh,
is that what's going on?
Oh,
There's
man.
a partnership that they haven't advertised yet?
Good God.
Did I break the code?
No.
Oh, okay.
You didn't.
Aw.
This is just another Gran Turismo game. I mean, hey, you know what? If you like good-looking cars,
yeah,
hey, there's a lot of good-looking cars on display here.
If you were upset that Forza is not even Forza Horizon, but just the Forza franchise is exclusive to the Xbox, well, here you got your own little exclusivity that's always been there. The Gran Turismo games.
Yep.
One finally came out again.
Yep. PS Pro support, 4K. All the
VR, fully immersive.
Yeah, some VR, some selected VR stuff.
Wide color. See the depth.
See the depth, motherfucker. You know what they need is they need
Ice-T.
They need Ice-T to say the things that are coming up on this this one, because then I would be like, I don't know why, but I really want to play this game. But yeah, I mean, it looks fantastic. I mean, Gran Turismo's always looked really good. I think that the level of good the Gran Turismo looks these days is like, like it used to be Gran Turismo was the best looking game you've ever seen.
Yeah.
And now it's like, it looks good. It looks even slightly better than a lot of the other things that we've seen trailers for. But you know what? There's some limits as to how good a thing can look these days.
Yeah.
And this is about that limit. So if you're into Gran Turismo, you go for it. Street Fighter V, it definitely got Akuma. I don't think we're going to spend a lot of time with that because we already...
Akuma's got some chops.
We knew that.
On his face.
Yeah, he's got like
a beard. Like he's got the Abraham Lincoln.
No, he looks like a lion. Like he looks like he's got a mane. Like from his his hair goes all the way. Like he doesn't have a beard. He just has hair from the top of his head coming out of the bottom of his chin. So there was also an announcement. I don't know if it was at PSX about how they're going to have 5 new characters in season 2.
Yeah. It was part of this as well.
I think
if I'm not mistaken, it's at the end of the trailer.
Oh, okay. Did they announce who?
No, they just showed silhouettes.
Oh, okay.
I'm sure if you skip to the end of the trailer here real quick,
was it this trailer that they showed?
Yeah.
Let's see. Okay, here we go.
And they show their what looks like their stages.
Is that Guile? That looks like straight up Guile because the nose and then the airplane. I don't know. Is that who's got a Russian hat? Anyway, Street Fighter V, continuing to update, continuing to do stuff. Have you played any more Street Fighter V? I think every time we have a trailer, I ask you that, and you're just like,
no, I haven't gone back to it. I want to, but I just haven't gone back.
I never even finished the story mission. Oh yeah, that was another thing that we might have. No, I did videos about that. I was trying to think back to all the stuff that I've done. Next up is our good friend Alex's favorite game, Gravity Rush 2. Which this is a DLC announcement of. I don't know if I remember when we played on Sunday streaming that this character with the raven or whatever is kind of another character, and now
her time has come.
Yeah, this is. Oh, and her name is Raven. Okay, so it looks like this is DLC where you're playing the game as her instead of whoever that white-haired lady is.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I had I had a fair amount of fun when we ended up playing Gravity Rush HD.
No, it seemed like a really good game.
And I'm looking forward to the second one. I'm not exactly, jumping up and down with uncontained excitement. But it looks good. It looks fun, and this looks like a little interesting
more of
slice. Yeah, a little more of it. So there you go.
All sounds good to me.
Next up, I could not be less excited. Ask me how excited I am, John.
How excited are you?
I'm negative excited. I'm like negative 100 excited.
I don't think that's possible.
It's totally possible. It's the opposite of being excited, because guess what? They're making a sequel to the game nobody gives a shit about. It's Knack 2, motherfucker.
It's funny because when they announced that, people cheered and hooped and hollered. I mean, mind you, it was the PlayStation experience, and they're gonna fucking cheer and hoop and holler at every goddamn little thing that gets announced.
Yeah.
But it really, and then like all the websites were like, "Oh my god, they're making a sequel to the one of the most underappreciated games ever,
really?
Knack." And I'm just like, okay, I don't remember. All I remember hearing is people saying how much it sucked.
Yeah, well, not even sucked, but was just kind of like bleh, just a little like bleh. So yeah, there's going to be 2 Knacks now. You're going to have 2 Knacks, and you can run around.
Co-op.
Yep, co-op. I wonder if it's going to be the sort of thing where you play it a single player or a co-op, or if it's going to be like computer controlled if you don't have somebody else with you. It looks a lot like Knack. I mean, there's running around hitting robots and goblins and a bunch of particle physics everywhere. Little shit gets connected to them.
Never played it.
I played it at E3 and was like, it honestly feels like one of those tech demo games. Like hey, look at all these particles. We made this character, and then we decided to make a game about it. Actually, no. I think we played Knack.
You probably did.
Did I play Knack? Maybe
I want to say you guys did.
Demo. I think Jason and I played Knack.
Maybe. I don't know.
Anyway, I don't know. I don't really understand Knack. It never seemed charming enough or interesting enough to really get all that excited about. But so, hey, man, if you're one of those people that was cheering when you saw this and Knack's your bag, great. Well, good for you. Huzzah. Who knows? If it comes out on a week when there's nothing else out, maybe we'll play it on Rage Select. But
probably.
All in all, but I'll tell you what's not. That's Pyre. The new game coming out from Supergiant Games.
Yeah.
Which I feel like we didn't get a whole lot of additional information in this particular trailer.
I feel like they didn't really announce anything new except for the fact that the big announcement that they came into the PlayStation experience with, which wasn't even mentioned really in the trailer, is that the game will have a online multiplayer mode, and this is the first time that they're ever doing that.
Okay. I mean, it looks like some kind of like arena transistor meets magic kind of thing, and
sports ball.
Yeah, I love the art style of it, like kind of all the crazy magicians and all the iconography and stuff. And John told me last week it's got the guy who did the Bastion narrator is narrating again.
Yeah,
also
well, I mean,
transistor sword.
Yeah, he was the transistor sword. He was the Bastion narrator, and then now he's like the vizier or vizier or whatever the fuck it is. The guy who's like almost like the villain.
Oh, okay.
Like apparently they were like, yeah, he's part of our team. Like, I don't know. They're like, we like him so much that he will be in every game that he wants to be in. Like he gets first pass.
All right,
kind of thing. Like it's like, hey, we're gonna do this game. You want to do a voice in it? Yeah, cool.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to it. I feel like I feel like this is one of those ones where I kind of want to see like the 10-minute. All right, we're going to show you how people play Pyre, because the Supergiant has never been like their games aren't super flashy to me.
Yeah,
but the gameplay has always been real solid.
Yeah,
so I'd love to see.
And they had good stories and good music. Oh
yeah,
my God.
Oh, very good music. We talked for 20 minutes last week about how good the music was
for Transistor and Bastion.
Yeah. Next up, another one of my favorites. We've actually seen this one before, but. Absolver from Devolver Digital.
Absolver from Devolver.
Yep. This is the one, in case you've forgotten, where it's like everybody is wearing masks, and it's like a melee focused kind of one-on-one punch and kicking type of game.
Yeah, it is a you fight against other people.
Yeah. Kind of reminds me of
and yeah, you can also you can become friends with other people, and you can partner up and then you can also fight against them and things like that.
Yeah, I mean, it reminds me of Souls dueling, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, it looks real good. I mean, it looks like it could be really fun. And this is another one of those things where if you took a we were talking in the first part about Souls franchise, where if you take just the kind of frenetic timing-based like multiplayer, 3-on-3 multiplayer of Souls, and you spun it off into its own game that had its own type of mechanics, that could be great. And so that's coming out next year.
It's coming first to PS4 with exclusive content.
Yep, coming to PS4 first. But yeah, I mean, even the art style and everything, like I like all the masks and kind of just the soft lighting and everything.
Yeah.
Looks good.
Looks good.
Looks good to me.
Plus, it's Devolver, so
Yeah. I gotta go find out what that other Devolver game that that they were talking about at the Game Awards was, because I thought I knew all the things that Devolver put out. Next up, we have Nex Machina, which is the next game from Housemarque, who are the folks who brought us Resogun, and Eugene Jarvis, the creator of, what was it, Robotron and Defender. And what's interesting about this trailer is that the first half to 2/3 of this trailer is all this kind of weird, almost like 80s style animation of people running and jumping and like arcades.
Looks cool.
And, yeah. But then it looks like it's actually going to be some kind of like dual joystick shooter, which all on its own, as I was saying to John before we started, if you had showed me this trailer without the pedigree of Housemarque, I would have been like, just the same way as if you'd showed me Resogun at first, I would have been like, but Resogun was fucking fun as hell. So this looks like a crazy good time, and yeah, I'll totally play it. Death Machine, or Nex Machina. Next up, not a whole hell of a lot to say about this Starblood Arena, which is kind of like a twangy space western meets Descent VR, like 3-on-3 or 4-on-4
combat arena shooter thing from San Diego studio.
Driving around, you can put like bunny ears on your little pod or whatever. But what I really liked about this was the fact that the trailer used Psychobilly Freakout by the Reverend Horton Heat, which I was watching this little space thing, and I was like, wait a minute, I know that song. And it's like, oh, that's a fucking Psychobilly Freakout.
Yeah, it definitely added some personality to the trailer that I think that otherwise may not have come off as well if it didn't have a song as like that.
Yeah. I kind of want to petition them to be like, hey, does this mean that every match in your online multiplayer game has Psychobilly Freakout as the soundtrack to it? Because I could handle that. I could handle that. Especially
no. It's all soulful covers of Psychobilly Freakout.
Oh no. Yeah, a bunch of colorful characters. I mean, this is another. I got to tell you, so I don't know, John, how much time you spend on Steam these days.
I haven't looked at Steam in forever.
Okay. There is I went to new releases yesterday looking for stuff to play.
Yeah.
And 75% of the first page in the new releases was just VR games. Like, there's so many fucking VR games on there, and I can't filter out the VR games because there's not a thing. And all this is leading up to say that, I kind of want a PSVR because I feel like they have done, Oculus doesn't seem like they have enough games, and Steam seems like they have too many games, but PlayStation seems like it's just right. So I kind of want to go Goldilocks myself into a PSVR because it seems like they're at least curating relatively decent VR experiences instead of just throwing every single fucking thing that everything comes up with at you, or being so exclusive that, I don't know. Oculus these days, it's like you get that stuff on Steam as well. But anyway, this looks good, and you know what? I need to make I want to make a Steam or an Amazon wish list that just has a PlayStation VR on it, and be like, hey, some fan of Rage Select, please.
Oh no, I have PlayStation VR on my Amazon wish list. The problem is it's not for sale.
Oh, really?
On Amazon.
Oh,
yeah. It's.
I know a GameStop here in town that has 2 of them. So, but yeah, I do want to play this. Next up, this is another one that I feel like this is one of those ones that is an interesting game that we haven't heard about in a long time, and it's a game that both you and I have actually played, John.
What?
Yeah. We played it I don't know if you played it, but they had it at the South by Gaming Expo 2 years ago.
I was saying what, as in just to be crazy.
Oh, okay. You were just doing your little John thing again?
Yeah.
You're just reverting. Dreadnought, 5-on-5. Jaeger's making this. It's like capital ship battles, like kind of low orbit capital ship battles. We heard about this a long time ago. I'm actually kind of surprised that it isn't out by now. Like,
I thought it was out on PC.
I don't believe so. I mean, I could check, but if it is,
because they made a big deal about at the press conference again for the PlayStation Experience, they were like, and it's finally coming to the PlayStation 4.
Here, let me check.
And PlayStation 4 will be the first console that has this game.
Let's see, Dreadnought game. I don't think it's out on the PC because I don't think that would have. I don't think that would have gone by my radar. Maybe it is. Yeah, it says 2017.
Okay.
I mean, I'm relatively certain because
okay, you could be right. I don't know.
I wait. What are they doing? Are they still doing like betas? Here's the PS4 beta. I'm sorry. I just want to take a second here because if this is out, I want to play it immediately. I don't think so. I think this is still. I think it's still in development. But anyway. This trailer looks good, and from what I played, when I played Dreadnought on a Intel PC at the South by that we were on there when Geek and Sundry let us on their stream for about an hour, seems fun. I mean, like, did you get a chance to actually play it when it was there?
No, I didn't.
It's fun. It's kind of an interesting thing. I know that a bunch of like Twitch streamers have access to it too, to the beta or whatever, because I've seen some people playing it on there. But it's real kind of dynamic, and it's an interesting take on a team-based shooter. Reminds me of, what was that other game that we were going to look at one week for Super Awesome Video Game Show, where it was like a Steam outer space capital ship MOBA style.
Oh
thing.
God, I don't remember.
I can't remember. Anyway, yeah, but looks good. Dreadnought looks good. Coming to PS4. Go sign up for the beta if you're interested in giant capital ships, which I am. Now we're getting kind of close to the end of just the regular game announcements. We watched Yonder, the Cloudcatcher Chronicles, which seems like a kind of a just adventure-in. I don't know. This seems like one of those games that comes out and I look at it and go, I don't know. Like just kind of a little kid wandering around in a big old land, making friends with water buffaloes or banthas or whatever. And
water buffaloes.
Yeah.
What is this, Virginia?
It's funny. I can actually look at this and just looking at this trailer makes me feel like the run speed on this character is too fast and then he's too slidey when he comes to a stop. I don't know why I get that impression by looking at this. It looks very pretty. There's kind of a whole thing about what a lady voice is like, I had to send you away, but in this new land you'll make friends and follow the thing. There isn't any combat or anything in the trailer. It's mostly just walking around. So maybe you need to see a little bit more before making any kind of real judgment.
Turns out he's Superman. It was Superman in the past.
Is that what it is?
Parents sent him to Earth because Krypton was exploding.
Oh. Well, I'll tell you another one that I don't need any information about, John, and that is fucking Strafe.
Strafe!
So
another Devolver.
Yep, another Devolver. Fucking love Devolver, man. I really wish that they would give me a job.
It'll blow your mind.
So for those of you who don't know, Strafe is... I actually really like this trailer. Did you watch this trailer, John?
I have not seen the trailer, no. But I've played the game.
You got to keep an eye on the quotes because they just get more ridiculous as the trailer goes on. So this is an homage to basically 90s style first-person shooters like Quake. And it has an aesthetic that's very much like that, where everything is kind of like...
Oh, shit, they had the wall jump.
Hard pixels and lots of like chunky blood. I believe it's procedurally generated.
Yeah, it's roguelike.
Going to be in VR. It's one of those things where there's like a bunch of different guns that you can come up with. All the characters are kind of low, chunky, low poly. And it's funny because I had actually made the assertion a long time ago that nobody is nostalgic for low poly FPS PlayStation 1 looking games. But I kind of like this. Like, I kind of dig what I'm seeing, and I think I got a chance to play a demo.
I like the fact that one person said I installed the demo and now my family is dead.
Yep. The one quote was, "What I mean, like, you guys should go watch this trailer because it's pretty funny." Did you check? Did you
like?
See
There are a lot
quote?
of YouTube comments, so I think they actually went to like one of their.
No, one of it, like they're putting up the accolades, and there's this one quote that says, "Sign with us, and you'll keep 5%." And it's the CFO of Devolver Digital. Like it's like they're just putting up shit out of their contract negotiations or something like that. And I think like the very last quote on this particular trailer is,
The best game of 1996.
Well, that was you, just now. No, the last one is I believe
Strafe by Strafe
is I can't find any more quotes about Strafe. Strafe intern. Yeah. But yeah, this looks fun. And if it's coming to VR, this also looks like one of those things that could be really, really fun in VR. So if you've never heard of Strafe, I highly recommend going and checking it out because it looks
It was also, I played it a little bit at South by Southwest last year.
Yeah.
When we went, and it was actually a lot of fun. Like, it's actually a really good game.
Yeah.
I am excited.
Next up, we have this is a weird one. I don't know if they showed this on stage. I don't think they did.
I think they did.
Omen of Sorrow. It's like a really low rent looking like fighting game with Dr. Hyde and werewolves, and it looks crappy, John. Like, it doesn't look like a very good game. It just doesn't have very much like flash or panache or anything. Like, it's just really weird looking. I don't know. Does this do anything for you?
Yeah, I don't know. It just
doesn't do anything for me.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what does stuff for John, and that's Hand of Fate 2.
Yeah, his trailer's good, but I mean, it's a trailer we've already seen.
Yeah, we're not going to go over that. If you haven't played Hand of Fate, play it. If you haven't watched Hand of Fate 2 trailer, watch it.
I fucking love Hand of Fate, and I can't wait for Hand of Fate 2. So
it's like your game of the year. Did that come out this year? Or was
no, that came out came out a while back, but it was a
Okay.
good game. Like, it was literally, I think that's the game I played the most.
Did it come out on the PS4 this year? Is that what it was?
Maybe. Yeah.
I thought we played it for a Sunday stream at one
We
point,
did
but-
because it came out. It was a free game with gold for Xbox One at one point.
Okay. All right. All right. We got a couple more trailers, and then we can get into the HD remakes. Then we can get into the rest of the news.
Hey.
So I actually have to say that I really appreciate this. This is a story that came out. I actually think it might have been out last week, but there was a trailer. So people were complaining about the way a lot of people were complaining about the way King of Fighters looked. We even talked about it on the Super Awesome Video Game Show. Well, it turns out that was this SNK is doing an update early next year to basically make King of Fighters look better.
Yeah.
And that's what King of Fighters, 14, 15?
Yeah, something like that.
14. And so this new version 1.1, they actually have some side-by-side things where they're going in and they're adding in like more shading. It looks like kind of a little bit more contrast.
They've upped the res of the textures a little bit.
The textures on the characters.
They're a little bit more detailed.
Yep. They look better, and not only that, but they're also adding in a bunch of like customization options where everybody gets a bunch of new colors. This is another one of those things where I feel like you gotta give these guys a thumbs up because they listened to one of the things that people didn't seem to like was the way the game looked, and so they did some work to make it look better, and they're putting that out as a free update. I had a hell of a time playing King of Fighters 14.
Yeah, we had fun.
Yeah, I really enjoyed playing King of Fighters 14. I'm glad that I got it, and I never would have expected to have liked the King of Fighters game because I don't really know that much about him. But
yeah, I loved King of Fighters. I loved everything that we played for it when we played it, so it was a lot of good.
Did we play the actual dojo?
Yes, I was on the Super Awesome Video Game Show and the dojo.
There you go. We also had a new trailer out there, and I think this might have come from a few places because I saw a bunch of them for Nier Automata, the new game in the Nier series that Platinum is making for Square, and this is just a bunch of crazy robot destruction.
Yeah, like I think I'd seen like trailers where they showed like cutscenes and stuff, but never like actual combat. And like watching this, I'm like, oh shit! What? Like I was like, what game is this? That looks cool enough that I want to play it.
Yeah, I mean, it's Platinum, right? Like, they know how to make a good game. Yeah, it looks real stylish. There's a lot of blasting, a lot of doing stuff, and that's coming out March?
Yeah, March 7th, 17th. So, set it right in front of your face.
Yeah. Well, I thought I'd give you the opportunity to chime in like you just pulled that fact out of your head, John. You ruined it. Why you ruin everything?
I want people to be impressed with my knowledge when it actually means something.
Okay, God. You're so legitimate, John.
Too legit to quit.
Finally, there was a Persona 5 kind of English story trailer that came out that didn't say a whole lot. I mean, it seems like that the main character has been like sentenced to high school almost. Did you watch this trailer?
No, I didn't.
Like it kind of goes over like that the main character being assigned to high school, and then like there's the forces of darkness and just all the nuttiness that you come to expect from Persona.
I really need to get around to watching the prequel series.
Yeah, me too. I want to play the game. I want to play the game so much. But yeah, this is as with every other Persona 5 trailer, this is shaping up to look like a really good. Between it looks like a Persona game but more urban, whereas Persona 4 took place in like a sleepy country town. This looks like it's taking place in like a very much kind of like Tokyo analog or Tokyo itself. It is a little strange, I will say, the amount of actual hand-drawn anime that seems to be in here when compared to the also in-engine cutscenes, and it kind of seems like they're just all over the place, but still looks berserk and insane and full of style and nuttiness. Which, I realize in a lot of ways that my enthusiasm for something like Persona 5 could almost be seen as a direct rebuttal to what I was saying about The Last of Us. Except that this looks so different than Persona 4 that if this was called Persona A New Beginning or Shin Megami Tensei Persona Lives or something like that, if it wasn't a sequel,
could have even been called something that wasn't Persona.
Actually, you know what? Let me back up for a second, because this seems to be following the JRPG thing. That is one of the reasons why Final Fantasy gets a pass in that kind of sequel thing, where this looks totally different. I don't see Chie. I don't see the main character from Persona 4. I don't see anybody from Persona 3. The only people that I've seen are the fucking Igor in the Velvet Room. So this might as well be a totally separate game.
Okay.
Just to, cut off anybody who's getting ready to clickety-clack.
I don't think anyone was.
I don't know. I like to just say stuff. All right, so then before we leave, we've got a bunch of HD remakes / remasters / hey, it's on the PlayStation now. And the first one out of the gate, well, you punch, kick. It's all in the mind, John.
You gotta believe.
It's Parappa the Rappa, which I don't understand even a little bit.
Really?
Well,
it's just a rhythm game.
No. I understand Parappa the Rappa. I just don't understand why you would Parappa the Rappa doesn't seem to have exorbitant production values. Why don't you just make a new Parappa the Rappa? They're putting this thing out in 4K or whatever.
Well, I mean, you got to think about it, and people love Parappa the Rappa, and I also don't think the sequel did as well as the first one.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the fact that they're doing a remaster of the first one, I think is a big deal. They've already put out a demo that you can download on the PlayStation Network. That was another big thing that they were like, oh yeah, and there's a demo out now.
Yeah, you played it, right?
Yeah, I played it. It's literally 5 minutes long.
Mm-hmm.
It's literally just the punch, kick, it's all in the mind training stage. I remember getting the demo disc of PlayStation games that you could play. You put in your PlayStation, you play it, and it's demo of a bunch of games. And I remember the Parappa the Rappa demo just being that level, which is what this demo is. It's like someone went, let's make an HD version of that demo, and then release it. And then they also announced on top of that they're doing
Patapon
HD of Patapon and Loco Roco.
Which, I'll be honest, Patapon and Loco Roco are both really fantastic games.
Yeah.
I'm much more interested in Patapon and Loco Roco than I am in Parappa the Rappa, because
I'll totally get Parappa the Rapper.
We played Senran Kagura Bon Appetit. The controller style rhythm games don't ever really appeal to me. I'd almost rather them at the end of this trailer be like, also you can play it with your Rock Band controller if you want to, because there's a disconnect where I'd rather play this with a Dance Dance Revolution pad or with a Guitar Hero controller than just a regular controller, because there's a kind of a disconnect that just doesn't feel right. On the other hand, Patapon as a rhythm game is great because your rhythm actually, it's like a strategy game where you're creating units. And Loco Roco, was Loco Roco the one where you turn the...
Yeah, that was originally a PSP game.
Right, but it's no, it was just you were squeezing and then gobbling up other Rocos until you made a big one. And then that was a fun game. That was a super fun game.
It was. I agree.
More interested in those than I am in Parappa the Rappa. But then I never played that on the PlayStation, so I don't have the same nostalgia factor for Parappa the Rappa that I feel like a lot of other people do.
Yeah.
Next up, another game that I'd never really played that I don't have the nostalgia as everybody else for, and Crash Bandicoot. Oh, this is not the right trailer. This is like I let. I was on like some kind of like let a thing play, or my YouTube video kept playing while I was looking at other stuff. So we were like 3 Let's Plays down the chain. But yes, Crash Bandicoot, the Insane Trilogy. This is a full remastering, not just HD, but like you'll say they went back in and redid all the art and everything.
Yeah, like everything.
Of the first, I believe, 3 Crash Bandicoot games. We already knew about this because they announced it at E3, right? Is that,
he announced them at E3, but there was like no footage.
Yeah.
They just announced that it was happening. And so this is the first time we're actually seeing what the game looks like.
Yeah.
And it looks pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, do you have Crash Bandicoot?
No, because I'm going to be honest, I didn't own a PS1.
Okay.
Like I rented a PS1 and rented Parappa the Rapper, like back in the day, back when you could go to a video store and actually rent a console.
Right.
And like I'd never owned a PS1, and I didn't own a PS2 until long after the Crash Bandicoot games were no longer a thing.
Okay.
I do remember the old ad campaign where, Crash Bandicoot would go to Sega and Nintendo and yell at the buildings.
Okay.
Because, he wanted to fight Mario and Sonic, and no one would ever come out.
Yeah. I don't have any nostalgia for this, so when I look at this trailer, I'm like, okay, looks like a kind of medium-grade platformer. Like, I don't know. I have a weird disconnect between when I stopped playing platformers, and then there was a time where I didn't really play video games, and then I got a PlayStation. And I feel like this kind of fits in that same time. Like the first Jack and Daxter also fits into that time period for me, where I don't have the same level of nostalgia, so I'm not just like,
okay.
I mean, at E3, you remember when they announced it at E3, and I was like, oh my god, and I was like, yeah, all right, sure. I'd rather honestly have them remake all the Jack and Daxter games and put those out, because Jak 2 was still a game that I remember with a lot of fond memories. But anyway, Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy. Seems all right. Let's see. Next up, this is what you wanted to say.
Earlier, back when we were talking about Marvel's Capcom Infinite.
Fucking hell, man! I'm all these videos kept playing while we were looking at those other ones, and I don't even know where they all came from now. I think that's what it was. Hold on for just a second, folks. Let's see. Vamp, John. Vamp, what do you got?
Oh, you want me to talk? I thought you were saying hold on, like you're going to just look.
No,
do you want me to talk about what we're going to be talking about?
No, just tell a joke or like a dirty story or something. Never mind, I did it. I finished
Did you?
it. So, yeah, in addition to announcing Marvel vs. Capcom, what was it?
Infinite.
They also announced and released, right, the same day,
yes,
Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 for the PlayStation 4.
And it is PlayStation 4 exclusive.
Is it exclusive?
It is not coming to the Xbox One.
Man, Capcom they've really gotten in bed with Sony for fighting games and stuff.
Yeah.
The Marvel vs. Capcom, the Infinite, that wasn't.
No, I don't think that's exclusive.
Okay. But yeah, 1080p, 60 FPS, Marvel vs. Capcom 3. I don't know.
All the, it's the Ultimate version. It has all the DLC that came with it. It's basically everything. It's available digital purchase on the PlayStation Store.
Do we know how much it is?
I do not, actually.
We can probably find out.
But it is one of those games that it's like, if I had the money, I'd probably go buy it, but I don't have the money right now.
Yeah.
Because I spent a bunch of money on Christmas presents.
You dope. You should have spent it on video games.
I did buy video games, but I also bought Christmas presents.
Well, you should just buy video games for yourself.
I did buy video games for myself.
Oh.
But I also bought Christmas presents.
Well, I can't help you with that. $25. That's
not bad.
That's not bad at all if you don't have this laying around, or if
you want to upgrade it so that you don't have to bust out your PS3 or Xbox 360 to play it.
Yeah.
Especially considering it's been completely removed from both the Xbox and PS3 stores.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
It got pulled because Capcom lost the rights. Like their rights ran out.
Oh, okay.
So the theory is that they re-upped them, and they're still not on the Xbox 360 or PS3 stores anymore. So this is you can now only get Ultimate versus Capcom 4 or 3. I mean, Ultimate
on the PS4
on the PS3 or PS4. I mean, PS4. Blah.
All right, next up, we got a pair of games that I know that a lot of people are into, but I'm not really, don't really know that much about them. Well, then, John, why don't you tell me a little bit about Garou Mark of Wolves?
Yeah, Garou Mark of the Wolves is essentially Fatal Fury.
Okay.
It's the last Fatal Fury game that was released. It's, that's really all that it is. It was one of the last Fatal Fury games. It was came out originally on the
Neo Geo, right?
Well, it was Neo Geo, but it came out originally on like the Dreamcast and a few. Like I owned it on Dreamcast, but it did come out like on Xbox Live and I think PS3, PSN. I think it even had a version of it.
Did it?
I don't know, but I know it was on Xbox Live because I bought it.
Oh, okay.
But so now it's coming to PlayStation 4 and PS Vita
and PC.
And PC.
Apparently, the PC version has problems right now, as just about everything on the PC seems to have. So, this is. I mean, it looks all right. I considered maybe playing it, but I just haven't had anybody who's been interested to play it with. So, but I mean, I just know that some of the folks that I respect, game developers and game journalists, have talked about like shelling out hundreds of dollars for a copy of this.
This is one of the Dreamcast games that I kick myself for because I bought it for $35, brand new, at a store, and then about 6 months later, took my Dreamcast and all my games and traded it into GameStop or whatever it was at the fucking time, Funko Land or whatever, and got a different console. And that was one of the games that, had I known how much it was going to be worth, I would not have.
You wouldn't have traded it in.
I wouldn't have traded it in because they didn't. Like, the only game they gave me more than what it was actually worth was Marvel vs. Capcom 2 and Project Cross Zone and one other game I can't remember.
Okay.
Like, they gave me like $60 for all three of those, and then gave me like $12 for the console and $12 for all the other games.
Okay.
And then like. Those games were like 60 some odd dollars a piece because they were super fucking rare. And then this one, they were like, we don't even have this one in our system. And he talked to the manager, goes, I'll give you $20 for it. And I was like, all right, I only paid $35. I don't care. Take it. Yeah. It wasn't because I didn't know.
Well, damn, John.
Yeah.
Got fleeced.
Yeah, I did.
And then also, Windjammers, question mark?
Windjammers!
I don't know anything about Windjammers.
Windjammer is an old Neo Geo game.
Oh, okay. Is it?
Yeah. I mean, it's flying disc game, man.
Okay. It's like some kind of versus like frisbee fighting game sort of thing.
Kinda, yeah.
Okay. And this one isn't out yet. Garou Mark of the Wolves actually was out, but this is coming, and this is some kind of Oh, so it's kind of like a shuffle puck or air hockey, but with
flying discs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough.
Kind of like tennis with discs.
Okay. And you can play it online. We'll have to check it out. I know a bunch of people who are. It's one of those cult games, right?
Yeah,
people that are really
I
into
love it because like one of my favorite wrestlers, not just wrestlers on TV, but wrestlers like in like just life.
Yeah,
like when he's not being the character, is totally a video game nerd.
Okay,
and like after the PlayStation experience, like a couple hours later, he does this video on that he puts up on his YouTube channel, which is Up Down Down, which he plays Let's Plays with just various people.
Yeah,
sometimes other Let's Players, sometimes with other wrestlers. So that's great. But he's like, so I was at this charity thing doing Little League for like a charity organization, which I want to say I was totally happy with, and it was one of the most fun experiences of my life. But then I come home and I see that Windjammer is announced. Oh my god! And like just totally just like freaks out over Windjammers.
Okay,
so.
Fair enough. We'll have to check it out. I'm sure that if it's that popular, it probably has some, something going.
It's
for
SNK. What do you want?
All right,
Neo Geo. I mean.
Next up, Wipeout: The Omega Collection is coming to the PlayStation 4. And this is, do we know which Wipeout games this is?
It's like all of them.
Is it all of them?
Yeah, okay. It's levels from every Wipeout game, cars from every, it's all of them remastered into one giant game.
Okay. That's fair enough.
From what I understood.
I got really into Wipeout XL. Like Wipeout XL was my
and
jam.
it's in 4K.
Oh yeah, well, fucking whatever. Yeah, I got really into Wipeout XL, but I've tried some of the Wipeouts since then, and they don't seem. I mean, when Wipeout XL came out, it was really kind of a different experience than a lot of the other things that were out at the same time.
Yeah.
As time has gone on, I've had a little bit less love for Wipeout. I mean, don't get me wrong, this trailer looks great. It's all a bunch of Wipeout cars driving around and blasting and explosions and stuff. I don't know. You got any severe love for Wipeout?
It's all right. I mean, I don't hate Wipeout. Wipeout's fun.
Okay. And let's see. Last but not least, Ys Origins is coming to the PS4 and the PlayStation Vita. This is a remastered edition of the original Ys franchise. I've never played.
I have never played them either.
Ys. I mean, I know that like they have a reputation or a good reputation, and then this looks like it looks like they're already taking a different remaster, because I'd be goddamned if the original Ys was like a Super Nintendo game, right, or something like that.
Something like that.
Like it didn't have all this anime in it. It didn't have all these cutscenes and stuff. It's funny because the actual game itself looks quite a bit rougher than the anime cutscenes. But yeah, so plenty of HD remakes, remasters, things. I'm really. I mean, I don't know if we're at a point, John, where this stuff is going to start tapering off, or if they're just
doubling down.
Well, I wonder if, like, because logically it seems to me that eventually you're going to run out of
things to remaster.
Things to remaster, right? Yeah, you're going to be scraping the lower and lower bottomer and bottomer of the barrel, trying to find stuff to remaster. So it seems like it should slow down, but I guess that's probably going to take quite a while, because they're still just in the middle of just re-releasing goddamn everything. All right, and that was the PlayStation experience. I'm sure there were some things that I cut, some things that weren't there, and some things we didn't mention, and there was panels, and I didn't get to watch all 6 billion hours of them, but considering that this podcast already is nothing but trailers, that. But we do have a couple more things to go, and one of them is I didn't even know there was a Mech Con, but apparently at Mech Con this year, they showed a 7-minute trailer for the new Mech Warrior 5 Mercenaries game. Now, did you get a chance to take a look at this?
No.
It's kind of interesting. This looks like it's set in the year 3150 or something like that. And this is pre-alpha footage of your character basically walking around in a mech, fighting just one other mech that shows up. It's funny because I feel like as time has gone on, fewer and fewer people remember Mech Warrior. I mean, that Mech Warrior 4 online game was out there, but I've never been really. I don't think I've ever been really very proficient in what the story of Mech Warrior is, but
it's very complicated.
Yeah, it seems like it's very complicated.
I've read a lot of I've read some of the novels and played a lot of the original games. It's a thing.
But it seems like it seems very Mech Warrior-y. This particular trailer, the character. Or you're driving this mech around and using the terrain to try to kind of get away from the missiles and lasers of a smaller mech, and it looks like a combination of missiles and heat distribution. It looks good. I mean, it's Unreal Engine 4. It doesn't look bad or anything. And yeah, it kind of ends with a giant pod coming down and a bunch of other mechs coming out of it, and it's like, well. Yeah, I just don't know. Is Mech Warrior even a name? Do you need because this is a smaller company, right? That's doing this, and this is obviously very niche. Do you really? I mean, do you feel like they need to really bust out with a AAA studio making Activision needs to put out a Mech Warrior game with all the flash and stuff?
I mean that would be great, but I don't think it the people who are going to buy this are going to buy this.
Okay.
That's the people who go to play things like MechCon are going to buy this.
How many people do you think are at MechCon every year?
Probably about 300 to 400.
Quite a few. Yeah, but this, I don't know, looks good. Looks pretty solid. I don't have enough Mech Warrior knowledge. I mean, my my main Mech Warrior experience was getting that the Microsoft Sidewinder 3D Pro where it twisted. That was good for one fucking game only.
Yeah.
But yeah, looks good. So I don't know, go check it out. Additionally, I think we can kind of just skip over this, but there's this big Andromeda initiative thing on the Mass Effect website that actually goes into a bunch of stuff that you have already explained to me about the arcs and where the Mass Effect Andromeda story is kind of coming from. And it's a pretty nifty video. It also has these like little kind of annotations where when the voiceover is talking about what the story, you can like click on stuff and look at the various things there. Looks good. Gives a little bit more context to that trailer that we saw before. I don't know if this is brand new, but I don't know. I just saw it. Let's see. Also, there's a new trailer for The Fractured But Whole. It doesn't really tell very much more than we already know about The Fractured But Whole.
Yeah.
It seems like it's pretty funny. I actually started to become a little bit worried, not necessarily about this game, but South Park has become so self-referential with their episodes that I'm starting to wonder whether I don't know. I have a feeling, John, that South Park might be going off the rails in a place that I'm not really super into. Like it's not as laugh out loud funny as it used to be, and it's more like social commentary without as much humor, but who knows? I do like Butter sending out his army of hamsters in hamster balls. And let's see. There was also a new Ghost Recon Wildlands trailer that just is like a...
Oh, yeah, that game hadn't come out yet.
2 minute, 32-second kind of like briefing that goes over a lot of what we already know. I feel like especially... Is it just me, or do you feel like Ubisoft just kind of making like the same game over and over and over again these days?
Well, when it comes to Tom Clancy, yes.
I mean, I don't know. I'm even getting some like kind of Watch Dogs vibes off of this. Like Watch Dogs meets... I guess, I mean, no, not really, but... I don't know.
Far
Cry? Well, yeah, Far Cry meets Just Cause, maybe, right?
Yeah. Though Just Cause is Square.
Yeah. But I don't know. I kind of get like they talk in this trailer about like how, oh man, you got to take down the forearms of the organization, like supply, distribution, blah blah, and this. And it's like, okay, so each one of those is a set of hub missions that you're going to go on for a person. You're either going to do them online or you're going to do them offline. You're probably going to do them offline because nobody's going to be playing it online. And they even talk about how you have to hook up with a bunch of ragtag rebels who are trying to clean up the drug cartel stuff. And I don't know. I mean, it looks fine. Like it looks good. It's a good looking game.
Yeah.
But it just kind of like, I don't know. I kind of feel these days like Ubisoft's games have all started to taste exactly the same, and that the more time goes on, the more it's just like variations on a theme rather than really kind of new and crazy and different experiences. But I don't know. This doesn't look bad. All right, so now we have a couple of actual
news items.
Actual news items.
Jesus.
Yeah, we are at 2 hours and 50. We're probably in somewhere around 2 hours and 10 minutes at this point. The Nintendo Switch is going to have GameCube Virtual Console support.
First console to have it.
Yeah, which is cool because I think personally that the GameCube doesn't get as much love as it deserves.
Well, see, and here's the thing, and another, I read an article that actually pointed this out. That same, it doesn't get it. But the funny thing is that everyone who owned a GameCube looks back at it because it had a fucking stellar lineup of games.
Sure did.
But the PlayStation 2 was super fucking popular at the time. The Xbox was the new hotness on the market at the time. And so people kind of weren't looking at Nintendo. It was actually financially Nintendo's worst selling console. But it had a game library on it that was fucking stellar.
Oh, not just that, but I mean, you know, the GameCube had that, I still have that $50 adapter that'll let you play GBA games on it.
Yeah.
Which, you know, when you consider the difference between hooking that up and then like what the PSP had, that the PSP Pro and then the Cradle that you could dock it into that had a component out, and I only know that because I wanted to play Peace Walker on my TV and not on a PSP, so you could like sync a PS3 controller to this Cradle and then output it to TV. But yeah, the GameCube was great. Killer 7, Resident Evil 4 came out there first.
Yeah.
Fucking Wind Waker and like Twin Snakes. That's still the only place you can play Twin Snakes.
Yeah, and you know, despite whether or not you feel it's a better or worse than the original Metal Gear Solid, or how you feel about the changes that were made, it's still a fucking phenomenal game.
Oh, sure.
You know, there's Eternal Darkness and like even Melee is still one of the go-to Smash Brothers version game. Like even more so than Brawl and the others, Melee is kind of it.
Yep. Super Mario Sunshine.
Super Mario Sunshine was fucking great.
So weird. Such a weird game.
Like there were just a lot of really good Resident Evil 4. You know,
just all those Resident Evil remakes. You know, they did the whole thing. Zero and. Did they put out 2 and 3?
No, they only did 0 and 1.
Oh, okay.
Or they did 0 and then they did 1. And
okay, but yeah, GameCube was great, and I think that this is actually like a real. It's a good addition. I'm a little sick of Nintendo. Like, you know, I feel like they should just be like, everything has GameCube support, because God only knows that the Wii U could probably benefit from being able to play a few GameCube games on it. I would use my Wii U more often. But yeah, they're going to be putting Virtual Console GameCube games on the Switch.
Yeah.
Which is good. Now for a long and heavy sigh. So apparently, oh boy, is Final Fantasy 15 is going to be getting a series of free updates that add additional content into the game. Let me read some of these. This is from Hajime Tabata, who says, our early plans are to enrich certain aspects of the game, adding gameplay enhancements for Chapter 13, buffing ring magic, etc. We'll have the specifics of what and when for you at a later date. After that, we're hoping to delve deeper into the story, adding scenes that will give you new insight into character motivations such as why Ravis walked the path that he did. We will need a little time with these, as they'll need to be localized and voiced in other languages, but we'll let you know the details once everything is set. For the long term, we are looking at making certain key characters playable, and even considering the possibility of customizable avatars in addition to other features over time. Other features we have in mind, including letting you carry over stats from a previous playthrough, aka New Game Plus, and adding items that introduce new playstyles, such as low-level runs and God Mode. We're also examining readability tweaks, increasing font size for certain languages. On top of that, we're looking at content you can enjoy in real time, including new bosses with exclusive rewards and achievements and limited time hunts. Now, can I explain to you why I find this to be repugnant? Like, just insulting to me as a human being.
Because your big complaint about the game was because of the fact that it felt like it was missing content?
Yes, exactly. I feel like they have withheld content from the Kingsglaive, from Brotherhood, and that there's already content withheld that keeps me from having a true emotional connection to Final Fantasy 15. To find out that a game that... And okay, before I put all the voices up on high, let me say this. This would not be a problem if they announced Final Fantasy 15 2 years ago and then put it out now. It has been a fucking decade that they've been working on this. If you can't give me a complete game experience after a decade, this shit isn't coming out until next year. This isn't coming out next week. They're not working on this as fast as they... Well, they probably are working on it as fast as they can, but Square, that means forever. But, like, are you kidding me? I waited 10 years to play this game, and now you're like, well, it's not totally done yet. We rushed a 10-year... They even delayed it, remember? They delayed it by 3 weeks. What the fuck? Fuck you. Put it out in 2017 when it's finished. Don't delay it and then put it out half-baked. Like, I'm sorry, and I can't... I'm really upset about Final Fantasy 15. Like, the story doesn't have... It's not hooking me. It's the... I like... 2 different degrees every Final Fantasy game that's come out. So far, without trying to be hyperbolic, because I'm not saying that the game is garbage. I'm not calling it a bad game. I'm saying that this is my least favorite numbered Final Fantasy entry so far, excluding the MMOs, because you don't compare the MMOs to the single-player games. Final Fantasy 13-3 has more of an emotional hook to me, and I got into that game. I finally ended up playing through it. Like, it started as a little bit of a chore, and I was like, man, I don't care, lightning, whatever, right? But by the end of it, I was into it. Final Fantasy 13, I didn't care at the beginning. I was a little shaky about it, but it hooked me. I kept playing it. I totally agree with the final hallway thing, but by the end of it, I was into Lightning and Snow and Vanille and Fang and the Lassie and the Falsey and the Seath and all that shit. I was into it. 12, 10. I haven't played 9, but or 8, but 7. You know, like I've been into every one of those games, and they've all left their mark on me. 15 is just not doing it for me, and to hear this is so disappointing because I don't know, man. It just feels like I can't even judge this game. Like I posted on Twitter, should I stop playing this and then restart the game with these updates to see if it makes it any better? Because that's a bummer. Nobody likes to play the same game twice, like especially in short, like close to each other, right?
Yeah.
On the other hand, I'm not really having a lot of fun with it right now, so I don't know if I should. I'm like 3 chapters from the end of the game, and I hear chapter 13 is just a shitstorm of garbage that's bad. I don't know. I just don't understand how this game has an 85 on Metacritic when I can find, like, I would give this game 2 out of 5 right now because it's just not doing anything. Like, it feels soulless to me. It just doesn't seem to have characters that are interesting, a plotline that's interesting. I just got done with a thing where a major event, a major thing, a thing that would cause pathos in any story happened to a character off screen, and I didn't get to see it. Like, it wasn't in Kingsglaive, it wasn't in Brotherhood. It was literally a thing that affects one of the characters of my party in a major way that happened over here, and like we split up. And then we came back together. This person had been dramatically affected by events that I just didn't get to see. No cutscene, no dialogue, just my character wakes up and this character has this issue. I'm trying really hard not to spoil. People who played the game probably know what I'm talking about, but and I just don't know how you make a game. I don't know how you excuse that level of shoddy storytelling, and then this shit pisses me off because it shows that they know that the storytelling is shoddy and that they're having to fix the game post-launch. And it just really drives me crazy. I'm sorry.
I knew you were going to talk about this because I remember last week when you were saying my biggest issue is that I feel like there's story missing and that I have to go to other places to get it. And then, seeing this and go, oh, and we're adding story elements to the game that we're missing. And it's like, ooh.
I wonder about this sentence. We will need a little time with these as they need to be localized and voiced in other languages, but we'll let you know details once they are. The fact that they'll need time to localize and voice this in another language indicates to me that are you telling me that this Final Fantasy 15 was the first Final Fantasy game, I believe, I'm not entirely sure, but I believe the first game to launch internationally in all platforms at the same time.
Yeah.
There's usually a delay between the Japanese launch and the American launch. But does this mean that content is already in the Japanese version of 15 and needs to be localized? Because the wording of that statement indicates that content already exists in Japanese, and that work has to be done to localize it to America.
When you read it to me, the way I interpret it is that normally it would take this amount of time for us to release this. However, because we're doing everything all at once at the same time, we have to add extra time onto that to localize it for other regions.
Yeah.
Because like no one has it right now, but it's going to take extra long because we've also got to do all these other things.
I'm sorry to keep complaining about this, and trust me, I'm gonna plow through the rest of this weekend and just be done with it because I don't want to be playing it anymore. But the problem that I'm having is that I don't see people calling this out. As much of a shitstorm as the internet tends to do about things like No Man's Sky or the ending of Mass Effect 3 or blah, 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 whatever, all I'm seeing is critical praise for this. And I feel like it's got so many fundamentally backwards, missing, or just tedious gameplay elements where people are like, well, the story doesn't make any sense, but the gameplay is fun. I don't think the gameplay is fun. The first Final Fantasy where I don't have control over my party. They do whatever. I can't even issue them a general order to like stay away from where I'm going to throw a bomb of Firaga so you guys don't all burn up by walking into friendly fire. I can't even do that. Like I look at previous Final Fantasy games and the ways that you could customize your different characters and equip them differently, different party lineups. None of that's present here, and all of that's very important to an RPG. Like the combat system seems dull as dishwater. You just either dodging. It's like it wants to be Dark Souls, but it's not. But it wants to be, except that you also have 3 other characters running into your line of fire and doing stuff. It's hard to see anything. I'm sorry to keep complaining about this. I really am. It's just that I feel like I'm taking crazy pills because I feel like people are seeing a thing in this game that I don't see. I just got done with a boss fight that was one of the most boring boss fights I've ever had in a video game. It was more quick time event than it was a boss fight. And I remember boss fights in Final Fantasy where you had to Final Fantasy the one that was Final Fantasy 2 in the United States, Final Fantasy 4, right?
Yeah.
You have your party, and you have your Dragoon, and I'm almost certain that was one where Kefka was the big bad at the end.
Probably.
No, Kefka was 3. I don't know. I can't remember. In any case, whatever. At the very end of that game, I was fighting the last boss, and I hadn't leveled up enough. And that boss did this super 9999 attack that was just wiping my party out. But what happened was I had Keen the Dragoon in my party, and he had this thing where he would jump into the air, and then he would come down and he would do the plunging attack on the boss. And I managed to time it so that every time the boss was winding up for that attack, he would jump, the attack would go under him, and it would hit him. And I literally whittled that boss down with one character because I couldn't keep anybody else alive for more than a turn. And when I got done, I was like, oh, fantastic, I did it. I just fought a major boss that was very beautiful to look at in Final Fantasy 15, but it was boring. It was just hold down one button and the boss dies.
So I have a thing,
okay,
a theory,
okay,
and this is something on why, because I haven't played the game. I can't comment on it.
Yeah,
but I have noticed that a lot of people seem to be like loving it, and I even see reviewers being like, well, the story's shit and disjointed, but everything else is so great. Like I love the characters and their interaction with each other, and I'm having so much fun with their, being around those characters and being in the world, and everything else is great, so I can look past all that, and that's why I'm giving this game 9.5 out of 10 and things like that.
Yeah.
And I've seen that a lot, and then I hear your complaints about it, and I wonder, because Final Fantasy is kind of one of those games that there's a certain level of like, well, of course it's going to be good. There is no such thing as a bad Final Fantasy game.
Yeah.
When it comes out. And then
so we're waiting.
And then maybe after a few months people start going, maybe it wasn't as good as it. Maybe I was just so excited to finally be playing a new Final Fantasy game that newness is worn off. And I'm like, because 10, I remember when 10 came out, everyone fucking loved 10.
Yep.
Everyone knew 10's the fucking greatest Final, way better than 7. Best Final Fantasy game ever in the existence of all Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
About 6 months to 7 months later, man, that game is crap. It's nowhere near as good as Final Fantasy VII, and that fucking upgrade system is stupid. Titus is the fucking worst main character ever in the history of Final Fantasy games. What the fuck? Like literally, that's how 10 went. I remember that.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if this is going to be the same thing, where it's like, and then at some point people will go back and go, actually it wasn't that bad. It wasn't as great as some people made it out to be, and it wasn't as bad as some people made it out to be.
There's like a hype boost, and then there's a hype backlash, and then 8 months from now we'll be at we can actually
probably like 2 or 3 years from now.
Okay.
Or another console generation later.
I mean, here's the thing. I actually like Final Fantasy X fine.
Yeah. Oh no, I did too. I didn't think it was like the greatest thing ever. I was like, oh, this is a pretty good game.
I guess it's just weird to me because I, in a lot of cases, am a Final Fantasy apologist. Where I'll be like, I can see. I may not have liked Final Fantasy VIII, but I can at least see what people would have liked about it at the time, with the graphics and the seriousness of the story and blah blah blah. Like, I understand all that stuff. I'm just not understanding what it is that people are seeing. Like the fact that you don't have a mage character, that magic is just throwing grenades, like throwing elemental grenades. Like, I just don't understand that. I just don't understand why it's excused that a franchise that has had such a rich variety of magic, because you got fire and ice and lightning, right? And then those, but you also have cure, and you have regen, and you have like shell and reflect and X zone and dark and turn people into a frog or fly, or quake, like you hover your entire party when your enemy is using quake so they're not on the ground, so they don't take any damage. Like, that stuff's an interesting and integral part of Final Fantasy that just doesn't seem to be in this game at all. And I really just don't understand. But that's just, I mean, I may have been, I wanted to like the game a lot, But that beginning, that's why I keep trying to talk about why I feel like the beginning is such a misstep, because the first 15 minutes determine my level of involvement with the game. And if you fall on your face in the first 15 minutes, what comes next better be really engaging, or else you're working from a disadvantage the entire time. And I feel like it fell down at the beginning, and then it goes into this quiet, like, rest stop. You're hunting animals while Cindy's fixing the car thing, and then you're just driving around in the car, and then it never really, like, picked up. You know the Titan fight they showed at E3?
Yeah.
It takes like 8 hours to get there, or 6 hours to get to that thing. And I'm like, that's impressive. This big fucking dude trying to slap you with his hand. But it's also kind of just a quick time fight. It's not exactly super, I don't know. Anyway, I'm sorry. I'm going to stop complaining about this, and I'll come back next week or the week after that with an actual review, because I got to get this out of my system. But
when you review it, you should totally have Jennifer on.
I think I should. I think I may. And then finally, you know what? It's been a long road. And John, I know that you want to talk a little bit about. Do you want to talk a little bit about Dead Rising 4?
Well, do you want we do the last?
Oh, well, this is just, you know how I put a silly thing at the end of everything?
Oh, okay.
The Metal Gear Solid 5 has this scene where Quiet and Snake are frolicking in the rain.
Oh,
I love the way that they use the Fox engine to insert other people in there. And today, or last week, somebody found Norman Reedus' character model. And not just
from the Silent Hills demo.
I don't know if it's from Silent Hills. Or
no, it is.
It's from Silent Hills.
It's from the Silent Hills demo.
And not only that, but then they replaced the Snake character model with Hideo Kojima. So it's Hideo Kojima in a tuxedo, and Norman Reedus playing Quiet's character, frolicking around and splashing him while this like soulful music is going on in the background. It is a thing of beauty.
It is.
It is a thing of wonderful beauty, because I don't know how familiar you are with the scene, but they splash for a little while, like in slow motion, and then at the very end, it kind of like dramatically stops with the Snake character, who in this case is Hideo Kojima, like holding the other character's arms, and it's like in this like kind of somewhat romantic gesture. This shit makes me fucking laugh every time I see it. Like, it was funny when it was like Otacon, but it's even more funny with Kojima and Norman Reedus. It's hilarious. If you need something to brighten up your day in this world, go watch Hideo Kojima and Norman Reedus splash around on the outer heaven.
Okay. So I guess before we end the podcast,
let's wrap it up.
We got at least another 30 minutes that I can talk here.
Yeah, it's a 6-hour podcast. That's what we're into these days.
So Dead Rising 4 just came out.
Yes,
I'm a huge Dead Rising fan.
Yes,
I'm pretty sure I talked about it, that the only game I cared about in December was Dead Rising.
I remember.
Yeah. I like the game. First impressions, I'm not, first impressions are, I like the game. It's a fun game. Killing zombies is great. The crafting system in the game is great. Mm-hmm. The game is a great game. Mm-hmm. I have some issues with it that I feel like I need to get off my chest.
Hey, man, I just yelled about Final Fantasy for 20
So
minutes.
Before the game came out, they announced, a bunch of changes, like getting rid of the time limit, getting rid of psychos, getting rid of...
Did they get rid of psychos?
Well, they changed them.
Oh, okay.
Psychos are now called maniacs because the term psycho is offensive. I'm not joking. That was actually one of the reasons they used for changing the name to maniacs.
Yeah, okay.
And also they made them less of a big deal. Mm-hmm. Like in the original Dead Rising 1, 2, or 3, when you encounter a psycho, there's like a cut scene where this crazy person is like, a fucking clown with juggling chainsaws and, has gone crazy because he watched a bunch of kids that he was entertaining get mauled by zombies, and he went insane because of it. And now he just wants to kill everybody because nobody's laughing at his jokes anymore. And then you have to fight him, and then once you fight him, there's a cut scene where, like, sometimes it's and then, like, they die in kind of an ironic way, almost killing themselves. Mm-hmm. Sometimes there's a very, like, interesting, like, sometimes there's very poignant stuff in some of these, especially in 1 and 2. Like, there's one in, I think it's 1 where there's, like, it's like a Vietnam veteran who's like an old man, but he's kind of like still like buff and stuff like that, who is like killing zombies in a hardware store, and he like thinks you're like, when you come in there, he keeps calling you Charlie. And he's trying to kill you, and then when you finally beat him, what you find, and he's dying, you find out that he watched his granddaughter get mauled by zombies, and it caused him to have a flashback to Vietnam and go crazy.
Okay.
It's very, it's actually like kind of touching.
See, because when you say that, the only one that I can remember is there's a really fat lady on a mobility scooter.
That's
Dead
3.
Rising 3.
Yeah.
Who's trying to keep you away from all the food.
There's the chef who looks like Jack Black in 2 that is cooking people like body parts.
Yeah.
There's a whole bunch of them, but there's these cut scenes, and you get their personality, and a lot of times that, and especially in 1 and 2, the psychos were a commentary on something.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's very dark humor, sometimes it's not humor. It's just this commentary on the specific aspect of American, or how Americans are viewed by an outside.
Yeah. It's Capcom's version of Psycho America.
Yeah. That's gone.
Really?
Now psychos are just random characters who happen to be, more powerful than everybody else, or they have like some special weapon or something, and they may say like a line of dialogue to you. There's no cutscene. You just run up to them, you kill them. I think Amanda told me about one that you had that you actually killed in like 2 hits. It was a lady with a flaming sword.
Yeah.
She was a maniac. She was the replacement for psychos.
Oh, boo.
Like all of them are like that.
Boo.
Yeah, and then you kill them, and then there's no like that's it. Like it's because people claim that psychos were too hard, and so they made them easier. Like literally,
they weren't too hard. You had to work at it, but that was the hard part of the game, because you didn't have.
That was
to work.
The personality of the game. I felt.
Well, the zombies themselves were never hard.
Yeah,
they were super easy. The psychos were the challenge.
Yeah,
they were the mini bosses of the game.
Yeah, well, they got rid of those.
Boo.
So they got rid of the time limit, which I was actually okay with them getting rid of the time limit. Like before the game came out, I went, you know what? I'm fine with that. The time limit, I can see why people don't like it.
3 might as well have not had a time limit.
Exactly.
Because of 100% of that game with 4 days left to go. So,
however, playing this, I realized why it needed a time limit.
Yeah.
Because
there's too much to do.
No, it's not that there's too much to do. It's that the time limit put a sense of urgency on everything. And not only that, I got to know that mall and the Fortune City mega mall city in 2.
Right.
I got to know those super well because there was a time limit, and I had to go, okay, well, if I go past the Jill sandwiches to the this and that, and then I can get here and get this item to make this weapon, and then I can run over here and kill this guy, and then because everything's on a time limit, and I have to know the layout of everything to do that. And it's like, oh shit, I need health. Where's a place that has orange juice? I'm in this area of the mall. If I go down this, it's imperative because I know I need to go do these things really quick.
Right.
And I get to learn the land. Here, I don't fucking know where anything is.
Yeah.
I'm like in episode or case file 3 or whatever, 3 or 4.
Okay.
And I couldn't tell you where anything is.
I mean,
I have there's nothing to force me to learn anything, because for as much of an open world as it is, the story aspect of it is so linear that I'm literally walking in a straight line to the next checkpoint. And I'm not going back to other areas. I mean, I can, which I just found out that you can do, but as far as I knew, like every episode or every case file was its own like mini level.
Yeah.
And it didn't really feel open, and then I just figured out how you can go to other areas and just ignore the case file stuff. Which, like I said, I just figured out how to do that because it doesn't really do a good job of explaining it. And I feel like because of that sense of urgency is no longer there. Like even in 3, I felt that just the timer being there, even if you never needed it, the timer being there still added that layer of urgency to it.
Well, there's also timers for individual quest lines.
Exactly. And that's all gone.
Yeah, like when you get a quest line and it's like you need a thing and you know that that's in another quadrant of the city. Like in the beginning, getting from one side, because it was like 4 different quadrants with the highway running between them.
Yeah.
And in the beginning, it could get a little dicey before you had enough car combinations where you're trying to drive over this highway that's always just jam-packed with zombies. Like it could get a little dicey about, can I get over there and then get back here fast enough? And I really appreciated that because it did put a little bit of a clock on there. But as I said before, I 100% got everything in Dead Rising 3 with like 3 days left to go without especially shitting. I just did what you did. I got efficient. I learned how to get from one place to another. Whenever they gave me a new car upgrade, it's like I would build that and then take that motorcycle, right?
Yeah, and so I mean, but because that timer was there was a level of urgency to it, even if it wasn't like super urgent.
Yeah.
And I feel like the fact that they removed that, there's no urgency, so I have no desire to learn how to do anything. Also, another thing that I really kind of dislike is that in the previous games, when you defeat a mission or a case, it typically starts you in the same place that the cutscene ends.
Okay.
Like for example, in Dead Rising 1, I'm in the shelter and a cutscene happens and the cutscene ends and I'm in the shelter.
Yeah.
Or now it kind of like the case file ends and then it starts up and I'm in a completely fucking different area. Like I don't even know where the fuck I am compared to where I was.
Interesting.
Like I'm just in a completely, like at one point I'm at the mall, and like at the very beginning of the game it's like I'm at the mall. Great. You go to the front area of the mall. I go to the front area of the mall to figure out this mystery, and then I figure out what that mystery is, and then it kind of fades to black, and then this kind of you beat case file 1 thing comes up and tells me my stats and everything.
Right.
And then starts me up, and I'm now in the city. I'm nowhere near the mall. And I'm like, how the fuck did I get here?
Yeah.
Where nothing explained to me getting here. Nothing, and then I get, while in the city, I do the thing that case files thing is. And now I'm like in the countryside of the city. And also they got rid of the day and night cycle. Which the other thing is that day and night cycles were a big thing in the first 3 games, because in the days zombies were whatever, but at night zombies got more powerful and got faster and
more aggressive.
More aggressive. Here, that's gone. That's all gone.
Really?
There is that.
I mean, it sounds like one of the things that we see over and over again, where in an attempt to make their game like not offensive and more accessible to more people, that they've kind of killed the thing. One of the things that
made it special,
made your fans like it in the first place, right? Because I mean, I just know that. I mean, it took me a while to figure it out. You and I have had this conversation before. I miss ugly Frank West. I miss shitty pig nose Frank West, as now he's like.
Well, it's like I liked it when he looked like Dan Aykroyd, not when he looks like pudgy John Hamm.
Right. Yeah. And I miss also.
The voice actor. I miss the voice actor.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the amount of... I was saying, Amanda and I were playing for a Patreon video that'll be coming out tomorrow. I think that like putting you in these little detective things where you have to take pictures of like 4 different things to continue, kind of irritating. Like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to have to figure out what your clever little clue is for, to this and this and this. Like, I don't know. I felt Dead Rising 3... I fucking love Dead Rising 3. That's my Dead Rising game. I played 2 and 1, but Dead Rising 3 was to me where it all came together into a lovely open world that had just the right amount of complexity.
Mine is Dead Rising 2.
Yeah.
Like, I think Dead Rising 2 is the best of the franchise. And I'm going to be honest, I never actually played Dead Rising 2 off the record, so I can't really comment on that little side.
Very much the same thing.
Yeah.
It's just slightly different.
But like I said, it's like, but having said that, I like the game. Like, for me saying like it's probably the worst of the Dead Rising franchise.
Yeah.
As a Dead Rising game, it doesn't meet all the hallmarks that I think makes Dead Rising a great game. However, saying that, it's still a good game. Like, I'm having tons of fun killing the zombies.
Sure.
I'm having tons of fun with the combo weapons. I love the way that they've changed some of the how you can do quick combos on the fly. Mm-hmm. How they've enhanced on that more so from the last game.
I like the fact that you could do. All you have to have is one ingredient in your inventory, and then if the other one's on the ground, you can do it without picking it up. Like, just
yes, exactly. Like, I like the improvements they've made there. I actually kind of like the idea of having separate inventory spaces for everything.
Yeah.
However, upon them doing that, we lost a feature that's actually inconsequential in the grand scheme of things, but it kind of is one of those things where in the previous games, if you had a weapon, you could throw it. No matter what the weapon it is, you could just throw it. Mm-hmm. Well, now you can only throw throwing weapons.
Yeah.
You can't throw, like, if I pick up a fire axe, It's just a melee weapon.
Yeah.
I can only melee with it. I can't throw it.
Yeah.
Whereas in previous games, I could be like, oh shit, and just throw something.
Yeah.
Well, now it's, I can only throw the Chinese stars or the items that are meant to be throwing items. Which again, that I'm okay with because I actually do like the inventory stuff.
Right.
And they still limited enough that it's still an inventory space issue.
Yeah.
I think they limit it in the right ways. I think they handled that really, really well. But I also kind of feel like the story feels disjointed. Like it feels like they ignored 3 and ignored 2. And feel like they just went, who the fuck cares about 3 and 2? We're going back to basics. We're gonna be a sequel to Dead Rising 1 and forget because they've kind of had a few bits of information that seems to contradict 2 and 3, but or at least just ignore that they ever happened.
Okay.
Maybe not contradict, but just kind of whatever.
You feel like somebody should mention the outbreak in Las Vegas or the outbreak in Los
or the fact
or
that
whatever it was,
Frank did show up in Las Vegas in the Dead Rising 2 Case West Xbox Live Arcade game. That is really sad that that's not actually like tied into the remaster in some way. But yeah, so it's just kind of one of those things where it just feels like they went, Frank West, he survived 1 and we're just picking up later. And then also hearing that pretty much everyone who's working on 4 had no part in 1, 2, or 3.
Yeah.
Now, mind you, 1 was made by Capcom Japan and Kinji Inafune.
Right.
2 was what is now Capcom Vancouver, but it was directed by Inafune. And then 3 was that same team without Inafune's involvement.
Okay.
And then 4, from what I understand, completely new team, and apparently the people who are in charge have done nothing but shovelware games.
It wouldn't surprise me. I mean, Capcom isn't quite as bad. I mean, they're not nearly as bad as Konami, but they've been making weird moves for a long time, and the games they're choosing to focus on and the games that they're choosing to ignore are it's a little nuts to me. But all I'm saying is
I like it though. Like I said, I like the game. I wonder how long the oh my god, killing zombies is fun. Oh my god, crafting these crazy weapons is fun. Oh my god, dressing up Frank West as Morgan from Darkstalkers is fucking hilarious.
Right.
And going through this thing. And I kind of feel like also with 1, 2, and 3, the story was a very B-movie plot that was self-aware of itself, but like it was played straight.
Yeah.
Like in the game, like, yes, it's a B-movie plot that is self-aware, but everything's played like it's like the most serious movie ever.
Sure.
To a degree.
Yeah.
This, it feels like everything's played super serious and it's not aware that it's not a super serious game.
Yeah.
Even though there is like crazy stupid stuff, like you can dress Frank West as Akuma or Darkstalkers or put him in a dress or put him in his underwear wearing a mustache in every cutscene.
I feel like that's a thing that we've seen more and more often. Jim Sterling has a really great video where he talks about one of the reasons that Resident Evil 4 was so good was because it was a great game mechanically, but it also had a sense of humor. And Leon was kind of he had some goofy dialogue, like he would fuck with people, and there was some goofiness to it. And that when Resident Evil 5 came around, 5 and 6 were so self-serious that you lost something, because it's nice when you have a thing to have some of that goofiness there. And I feel like we've seen that happen. I was just reading another person talking about how after Final Fantasy VII, that the Final Fantasy series started to get very serious and not have Final Fantasy VII where Cloud dresses up like a lady to go into the whatever, chocobo races and weird saucer stuff, and he goes on a date with Barrett and whatever. Like there was some goofy, funny stuff in Final Fantasy VII. That 8 came around, it was just fucking I'm Squall and Cypher. Oh, good, it was so serious. Which 9, of course, had some more humor to it, but.
Yeah, and that's not to say there's not humor in Dead Rising 4 either, because one of my favorite moments in the game right now, comically wise, is you get told to pick up this blueprint, and there's a giant military Humvee, and then there's this like small like go-kart, and you combine them, and it turns it into a tiny go-kart thing. She's like, yeah, go take those blueprints and make do something with this. And then you make it. She walks up to you and goes, what the? Okay, you don't know how to do this right. And then walks off. Like, you can drive this thing because that can only fit one person, and I gave you a 3-person vehicle.
Yeah.
I gave you a vehicle that can hold multiple people, and you created a vehicle that can only one person can sit in. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Oh, man, I had Frank in his little summer dress driving around in the mall on a little pink girl's bike. That was awesome.
Yeah, and one of my favorite costumes that I've been wearing is I found the shark outfit, the costume where you dress up like a shark.
Yeah.
And then I walked into like another store and got a biker jacket. And the shark costume went on underneath the biker jacket.
Oh.
So I have this bad boy biker jacket being worn by a guy in a shark suit.
All right. Yeah, biker sharks.
Yeah, I was just like I'm a bad boy shark.
You're a sewer shark.
Killing stuff. Street shark.
All right. Yeah, Street
Awesome.
Shark. That's what I've been looking for.
Sewer Shark was a okay Sega CD game that had nothing to do with sharks.
All right. Well, we got to wrap this up. We are now officially the longest podcast that's ever happened in the history of Race
I'm pretty sure me and you have done longer.
Maybe.
Like E3 podcasts were longer. Not counting them together, but like one E3 podcast was probably.
Maybe. Anyway, do you have any final thoughts about Dead Rising 4? It seems like you like it just with caveat. Like,
yeah, I think it's a good game, and I love the setting.
Yeah,
I love the Christmas aspect of it. Like, I think that's fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
The fact that the town was in was right after Black Friday that this happened, so it's in full Christmas mode.
Yeah.
There's just. I fucking love that. I think there's a lot of great humor. I do wish the game was a little bit more colorful.
Yeah, it's real
because it's very dark washed out and dull, more so than 3 was.
Yeah,
and 3 was also very washed out and kind of dull. That was one of my big complaints with 3. Whereas 1 and 2 were just super fucking colorful, and there were references to other Capcom properties all over the place. And like I said, there's a store called Jill's Sandwiches.
Yeah.
We
saw it.
Yeah, and now it's. Now it's just like there's a bunch of generic shit, and maybe you might run across a Capcom reference here or there.
Right.
But everything's just like all dark and drab. But I mean, it's still a good game. I'm enjoying it. Like, it's one of those things where it's like I'm irritated, but I'm still having fun.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with liking a game, but still having problems with it.
Yeah.
I like Dark Souls 3, but I have problems with it. I mean,
And like I said, I think it's a great game. I just don't think it's a great
Dead Rising
game.
Welcome to Max Payne 3.
They could have literally, and it is kind of that same thing. They could have literally slapped any name on this.
Yeah.
Like zombie, survival, 2023, and the main character's name could have been Fred East, and it would have been fucking great, and like it would have been like, oh yeah, this is a good game, and I send up to not as good as Dead Rising, but a nice little send up to Dead Rising, kind of something similar, because you don't see a lot of games trying to do that, though there are games that do that.
Yep. Well, I don't know. I haven't really got a chance to dive into it because I've been playing Let It Die pretty much obsessively.
Yeah, I've been actually wanting to get back to it, but I want to finish Dead Rising before I get back to it because I want to finish Dead Rising before Christmas.
I can see it
because Christmas time.
All right. Well, that's it, folks. We're done.
Hey,
no questions. Sorry if you sent in a question. Please send it in again. I'll try to get it together. There was just too much. There were too many things. Sony
the things.
They shoved all those things in my inbox, and that's it. So yeah, we'll see you next week. Thanks everybody for writing in. mail@ragelight.com is the email address, and good night.
Later.